watching Force 13's live streaming service. Hello, this is Force 13 Live. My name is Nathan Foy and I'm here with you once again this evening. It's the first time we've done a live event in such a long time. We thought we would tonight, looking at the United States severe weather situation. My name is Nathan Foy and I'll be here for an indeterminable amount of time whilst we discuss what is going on right now. There's some imagery of the severe weather that's currently occurring. To be honest, it's all across the country really in various forms. Thunderstorms, tornado alerts, flooding, blizzards, you name it. It's going on. We've got our team tonight, or elements of our team. I believe at this time we are joined by Craig and Isaac as soon as I can find out how to fade them up. Here they are.
Hello.
Oh, good. How are you guys this evening, and what's going on?
I'm doing quite nice. I'm currently watching severe weather that's going on right now, and over here it's pretty much like as if nothing even happened. Yesterday I got some nice thunderstorms, and reportedly there was a peak gust of 65 knots, which is around 75 miles per hour, recorded somewhere around me, and now it's pretty much no wind at all. But the main focus right now is the severe weather going on in Carolinas, Florida, and Georgia.
Now, the live event idea came about this evening because you may well have noticed that in recent days we've started our new feature, Weather Beat, which occurs every evening. There wasn't much going on in the world of weather today, so I thought we'd sort of... Most of the news was the United States severe weather, so instead of doing Weather Beat tonight, we've gone to the US severe weather desk, I suppose, with Craig and Isaac, and to talk about it live and have live interaction with all of you watching as well. If you do have any comments or questions for myself or any of the team, do send your messages in. Start your message with Force 13 all in text. It will light up big and bright for me in the comments section, and I'll be able to get to it. Hopefully, as long as things don't get too busy this evening. So we had that, and we also had the tropical weather bulletin, which still may or may not go ahead tonight, maybe in the form of the live event, and we'll discuss maybe the Eastern Pacific hurricane season if things get a bit quieter. In the meantime, Craig, what's going on there?
Well, what we've got right now is a few severe thunderstorm warnings that are currently in effect. As you can see here in the loop that I've got playing, is a line of pretty potent severe thunderstorms that have progressed northeastward throughout the day. Some have already been doing damage by mainly tree damage, and some have been producing winds of around 60 miles per hour. Flash flood warnings have been issued in some parts of the US. As you can see, the last one just disappearing at the end of the loop there. But pretty much, if any tornadic threat from what I'm seeing and from what I've worked out so far, should either be starting to creep up now or it could already be past. But looking at it right now, this is a giant squall line, which means it's just a giant line of thunderstorms, which are pretty significant. Normally, some of them are pretty outflow dominant, meaning it's just winds are flowing out of the storm and they can be pretty violent and as much as dangerous as a tornado itself. But that's pretty much the situation what we've got going on.
We're also playing about with the National Weather Service's graphics. There you can see a severe thunderstorm warning, which is in effect. You know those new graphics that they're coming out with now? We're able to display them on the stream. I'm not sure in what particular order, but there's one in North Carolina that's valid till 6:15 local.
Aye, what's that?
What are we looking at here?
And a little suspicious little feature here. You can see going past Pleasant Garden just by Greensboro. I'm wondering whether that's just on the edge of the radar, but unfortunately I can't really check. But as you can see here, look at this area in red here, going towards Walkertown. You can actually see it starting to rotate. You can see it physically spinning in the last few frames. That's actually pretty incredible, seeing that little area that all the winds are going away from radar is actually starting to spin. But there's no real couplet, so I'm willing to see if that could just be a little low-level low or mid-level that could just be spinning up, and it's a little vortice that the radar is just picking up. But I'm looking at this area here.
Tornado warning in effect over Vero Beach.
Just quickly zooms out. Ah, there, down there. Oh, for God's sakes. Let's quickly get down there, see what it's doing. But that's pretty much been the setup for today. Has been pretty much a line of severe thunderstorms which have been starting to leave the US. If you're down in Florida, the storms should start leaving you, or unless you're down the south here, these storms will start crossing over. Maybe a few severe thunderstorm warnings might be issued by that point when they cross over. So let's have a look at this.
Tornado warning
velocities aren't there.
Indicated by radar, apparently.
Radar indicated rotation. So the rotation would probably be on the... Ooh, it's hard to tell because it's that close to the radar and there's no other good radar sites to view this cell from.
Yeah.
But the rotation, I'd imagine, would be on the southern flank, which is right here where my cursor is. But looking at it, the velocity, I'm going to have to go back a frame to get a decent view of it. Okay, maybe not. It'll just give up on me completely. But the velocity would be, if it is to be rotating, which the radar does suggest it is, it will be on the southern flank where you can see this little slight hook is trying to kick out.
Yeah, I can see that.
But
like untrained
once it moves
even.
out here, it might produce a water spout when it gets out over the Atlantic. Maybe.
Okay then, well that's what we're up against right now. The one tornado warning that was just issued not long ago. I don't know when it was actually issued, but it's valid until I think it was 6:30, was it?
Tornado warning was
5:30
issued at 4:57 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Oh, some time ago then. Well, it is still in effect for a little while yet. There were some comments that were already sent our way, so let's see if we can get onto that. Let's see. Will Weatherbeat happen every night is the first question from EB Gaming 13.
Ooh.
And I'll just... it is going to be probably most nights of the week. We might take a recess over weekends or something, but we are aiming to do that most nights. Craig?
Looking at this right here, the area that I was hinting near Greensboro right now has actually improved somewhat. You can see here this part of a couplet has started to develop. This area could go tornado warned if the National Weather Service does deem it necessary to go tornado warned. Looking like on the southern side where the green is, it is starting to pick up in intensity, so we could have a weak... Oh god, there's two me's. Yep, there we go. There's the scan. So this is a definite couplet that's in there. So there could be a circulation, which, in fact, could be. That's an understatement. So here's definitely looking like a circulation that is starting to ramp up, heading northeast. Greensboro. If this does not go tornado warning, say in the next 5-10 minutes, I will be amazed. Because this is starting to show signs of possibly going tornadic.
That's interesting. There's some more questions. Did you hear about the Floyd County, Indiana fire? I can't recall, but if you do know more about that, do let us know. Let's see what else we've got. Your thoughts on there being a hurricane hitting New Jersey or Long Island in 2018? What do you think about that, Craig? And
too early. Far too early.
Craig saying it's too early. I think there is a slightly above average chance, but it's not to say that it's going to happen.
Oh, there we go. Tornado warning. On the exact cell as I was going on about.
There it is.
Radar indicated rotation. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Greensboro, moving northeast. Moving northeast? That's north, Craig, for God's sake. Moving north at 55 miles per hour. That, to me, is actually looking northeast rather than north. Unless it's giving me the storm movement, which I think
northeast, or something like that.
The circulation itself is going northeast, but the storm is probably giving me the storm motion, which is going northeast. Or going north, I should say, northeast. I'm too concentrated on the damn circulation. But if you are in those areas, you do start thinking about taking precautions, getting into a basement if you have one, or into an interior room away from all doors and windows, or making sure you have enough windows. Oh God's sake! I just sinned. Enough walls between you and the outside as possible.
There it was under the severe thunderstorm warning that we're displaying there.
Yeah.
That's also in effect, of course, and tornado possible.
Yeah, looking at this here, looks like a Hawk Echo to me. It's deeply embedded, so this could be a tornado starting to develop. Here you can see from the south, there's your inflow notch, which is what you're looking for in a tornado or a developing tornado. And round here is somewhere should be your RFD starting to cut round the storm.
And just like that, 250,000 people under the tornado warning.
Yeah, it's amazing how much. It's actually amazing how much danger, especially one little cell. This isn't really big. This can put so many lives in danger, and people's lives are in extreme danger with this tornado warning in effect. And this thing is starting to really ramp up.
So that's a concern, obviously.
Yep.
Tornado warning there, that's in effect until 5:30?
Until, 5:30.
So that's the main event right now. That's in North Carolina, of course, and I'm going to try and get some more specific information on that one, if possible.
The circulation list to be is just passing Greensboro now. So anywhere that's to the north of this, Brightwood and McLeansville, you will really need to pay attention to this. Because if this thing this couplet does start tightening up any more than it is, I would start getting into shelters and safe areas immediately. Because this tornado isn't going to wait on you to get below ground. It doesn't care. And there we go. That is definitely intensifying. This couplet is getting better defined as it goes along. There could be a rain-wrapped tornado if this is rain-wrapped, which looking at radar, this does look rain-wrapped.
Craig.
So if there is a tornado, you will not see it. If there is, well,
look at radar. Look to the north of that storm. Look near Fieldale, North Carolina, and I'm spotting another possible circulation there.
Where did you say?
Fieldale, Collinsville, Martinsville, Stanleytown, around there.
To this one here. Yeah, I could see where you're on about here. I'm gonna quickly switch to the radar type here. See, it's too close to the darn radar. Oh, that's a problem. But looking at it, there probably is a circulation. There could be a circulation in that. But looking at this one, here is a better view of the current tornado warned cell. You can see that nice couplet mixture of green and
just
red.
So you know, Craig, I'm just leaving the stream in your capable hands for a few minutes, and then I'll come back and pick up all the information. I've just got to get away from here for a moment.
So you can see this is the definition of a tornadic supercell, or a tornadic storm, is where you have this couplet, which is the mixture of winds going towards and away. So pretty much what you're looking here, if you are storm chasing, this is what you're looking for. Oh yeah, that's getting stronger. All right, you can see here, bright woods in the path. You can see here though, this storm is moving northeast. You can see now that it has done that turn. and there's your rotation right in there. Oh, there's your inflow notch coming in from the south, and then starting to hook round, and there is what would be your RFD coming up and around. And then this area here is where it would be. If you're looking for a tornado, your tornado would be in between Greensboro and Brightwood, at Brightwood right now, if there is one. I don't know what you thought on that, Isaac.
Not really. I'm just watching the other cell that I mentioned, and see if that one tries to develop too, because that might be the next target.
Martinsville cell, there is a slight couplet in there. It's weak, very weak at the minute, but there is one there.
Not really noting anything else at the moment.
Yeah, but we're keeping a very close eye on this cell right here. That this one up really fast in the last, I would say, 10-15 minutes. But that shows you how quick a tornado can develop. But going back to say last night's tornadoes, there were a few confirmed tornadoes last night. One that hit Mountainburg. The damage from what we've seen from that, I don't know whether anyone's got questions or not, but if you do, just tag Force13 in that. But from what you'll see from the the Mountainburg tornado was it was a very large and very fast moving tornado. I don't know whether you've seen videos of it, Isaac. The tornado last night in Mountainburg was a large destructive wedge. Now, the damage that we did see from that, well, I seen from it, I don't know whether Isaac did, was at least... Yeah, that one house that we seen was at least high-end EF2, maybe EF3 damage, from what I could see from probably my best estimate. Confirmed tornado. We have a confirmed tornado. Radar confirmed tornado. We have a tornado on the ground. A tornado warning remains in effect until 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for northeastern Guilford County. At 5:16 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a confirmed tornado was located near McLeansville or near Greensboro, moving north at 45 miles per hour. That's a definite couplet, and there's a definite tornado in there. Hazard damaging tornado source radar confirmed. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Locations impacted include Greensboro, Monticello, do correct screaming chat if I butchered that. Lake Townsend, Marina, come on. I know I'm trying to read this as quick as I can. Lake Townsend and Hall, River State Park. To repeat, a tornado is on the ground, take cover now. And move to a basement or interior room on the lowest floor or a sturdy building, avoid windows.
Craig, someone asked, forgot their name. They were asking if there's been any tornadoes in Georgia.
Not from what I've seen. There hasn't been any. There has been a few tornado warnings there today, from what I've seen or from what I've managed to catch. But there hasn't been any confirmed tornadoes. This has actually been the first confirmed that I've seen today. You can see here's your hook echo and it's embedded.
Other than that, we have only there's one more question asking, kind of off topic, but if ACE is high, is it a good or bad thing?
I'm guessing you're referring to the Atlantic hurricane season. High ACE for the Atlantic hurricane season means it was generally active. Depending on how high you're going, if you're going at high, then it is genuinely. You're getting pretty long track tornadoes. I'm not really the person to answer that. Hank probably the best person to ask.
Then there's a...
Oh, there we go. Tornado has been sighted. Emergency managers in Guilford County reported a tornado on the ground. So this means the tornado has been observed. And it is... you can just see its inflow coming from the south. You can see... from Forest Oaks, this is where its inflow is.
Craig interrupting, a tornado warning in effect in Virginia. No, it's near Virginia, it's on the border.
Yeah, well, this is the confirmed tornado.
That's another one, yeah. Another warning.
Yeah,
area.
that's an extended confirmed tornado on the ground.
Oh, it
this
is. Yes.
tornado has been This tornado
So I
has
see.
been observed by emergency managers in Guilford County that reported a tornado on the ground. But looking at this, yeah, there's no argument with that. There is definitely a tornado of some description in there. But looking at it, it's probably either lightly rain-wrapped or starting to go heavily rain-wrapped. But looking at the circulation, that is a little weaker than what it was. Doesn't mean that it's lifting. Don't really count your chickens until this circulation is completely gone. Then you can say it won't try again.
Another. Oh, wait, never mind.
Go ahead, Evan.
I was gonna say another tornado has been observed, but it's the one that you're talking about. There's no new warning for it.
Yeah, it's been extended. If you're in these areas, please take cover now. This tornado is I don't know its exact size, but it's looking at circulation. It could be large and extremely dangerous. Not saying it is a wedge tornado, but there is a tornado nonetheless. Regardless of size, do take cover now.
At this point, I do return. I've been listening to the developing situation, and it has developed very quickly, hasn't it, this one?
Oh yeah, this one's really kicked up in the last, well, as I said, my last time frame, which was 5 to 10 minutes, but longer than that now. This thing, as we've seen at the start of it, went from pretty much nothing to this. And as I did say earlier on, this is amazing how quick a tornado can develop. And this really shows. You can see there, somewhere in there is an embedded hook echo. This is extremely difficult to see, especially in radar. This is where I really relying on base velocity. Okay, so there's their couplet now. So this is your tornado right here, right where I'm zooming in on. This point right, oh, up too far. This point right here, this is your couplet. So this is your tornado right here. The rest is now your circulation.
Yeah,
this is that. So here is pretty much where the tornado's inflow starts. Pretty much. This is your shock point, and it moves north.
It's also important to mention that this storm also is producing quarter-sized hail with it.
Yeah, that's significant enough as well. You can see here there is, as Isaac's saying, that GR level 3 is picking up a hail marker in it, matching its description. So here you can see that where the storm's projected path is, which is generally northeast.
And severe thunderstorm warnings all over the place in North Carolina and Virginia right now.
Yeah, this is mainly just associated. You can see actually here what looks to be the formation of a bow echo. What looks to be a very large bow echo. You can see this is probably much the top of it from what I can see here, but it's probably stretching way up. I'm trying to bring up National Weather Service Doppler radar because this will have a far better view than what I'm giving.
I'm going to endeavour to take some more questions if there are any, because in fact there have been a lot whilst I've been away, so do interrupt me if anything happens, but in the meantime I'll take some questions. I don't know if you covered any of these, by the way. Do you think this frontal system will produce tropical cyclone in the Atlantic? Did you mention that? The answer's no, by the way.
No, it won't, because the center is virtually not. It's far over the north. It's still well inland, and this is pretty much what's connected to the frontal system. So the frontal will just break off and then get caught in the jet stream and become an extratropical cyclone itself.
Janine Reynolds says we're having an ice storm.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're actually having, one minute you're having tornadoes, next you're
Canada.
having winter.
That's in Canada.
Oh, hello. Yeah, another circulation, just to the northeast of our current tornadic supercell, or cell, not supercell. Yeah, you can see it right in here, just northeast of Stokesdale, or Stokesdale, I should say.
Stokesdale.
So this is relatively weak at the minute, but this could either be the storm starting to cycle, or this could be a potential twin. Oh, God.
And that is also under a severe thunderstorm warning. There's the warning relating to that storm there. And as you can see, they don't mention the possibility of a tornado, but you know, it's possible. Quarter-sized hail possible there as well.
when you're looking at, mainly when you're tracking these sort of tornadoes, you're mainly, especially if they're embedded in squall lines, you're mainly relying on your velocity. Depending on where you're positioned, you're mainly relying on that. If you have a couplet like this, I'll go back without the discrepancy, like this, you know there's a definite tight circulation in there, and you know there's a potential tornado. This, on the other hand, if you're seeing this, it's relatively weak, but you've got to keep an eye on it. But the potential for twins, it's a scary thought, but there is potential for a twin.
Are you? I'm noticing something kind of interesting. I doubt it's a tornado at this point, but north of Ferrum to the southeast of Rocky Mount, there was an interesting kind of thing going on there.
To the southeast of our current one.
Yeah.
Southeast.
I mean, not southeast, north.
Or to the north.
I'll take some more questions in the meantime.
Oh, this one, these two here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see that.
Yeah, there's actually two in there. Oh god, 4.
Black Tiger Cat says, what do you think of Super Typhoon Jello-What's intensity? No comment.
Nothing. It got walled.
No comment. Let's see. I'm just looking for any more comments. I think you mentioned Georgia, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I think we've covered most of it. Although, you might want to reiterate some parts of it.
Actually, looking at this, looking at one of the enhancements, just in some images that have been posted, looks like there could be some damage being caused, but that's probably the bits of trees going up into the tornado. Let me have a look here, see if there's okay, yep, there's definitely a tornado in there. So this blue area that you're looking at is the tornado.
Oh, wow.
So pretty much what you're looking at here is either debris getting kicked up by the tornado, which isn't a good thing, because this is a damaging tornado that is unfortunately either hitting somebody's home or hitting something, which isn't good. But likely the fact that this could be trees, I'm hoping it's just trees and nothing more. But if this is homes, this isn't a good thing. This is actually pretty bad. But you can see this is the general extent of the size of the tornado. It's not very large. It's probably about, say, a couple of, maybe 50 yards wide, maybe. But that's probably the best estimate. I don't even know how big this tornado could be, but it could be around 50 yards wide, at biggest. But regardless of size, as I said, if you're in the path of this tornado, get below ground immediately. This tornado is very likely to be rain-wrapped.
And it's moving fast.
Oh yeah, that as well. That is moving extremely fast.
The Corrupting Gamer wants to know what radar program you're using, Craig.
I am using GR level 3.
And Janine Reynolds says, are you tracking the ice storm in Canada?
The GR level 3 unfortunately does not go that high.
Ah.
I think it might cover just the lower part of Canada, but it doesn't cover the
I'm guessing
entire
the ice storm is going to be somewhere around the lakes.
I'm probably guessing it's the storm center that's to the north that's probably causing it. I'm looking at the National Weather Service radar. You guys can't see this, but I'm seeing strong snow bands going into Canada.
Oh god.
Related to the center, but looking at it, and then you just look to the south, and then it's winter to the north, summer to the south.
Yeah. Well, spring at the very least.
Canada right there.
Out of
Looks like
that,
a new severe thunderstorm warning again in North Carolina. They're being hit with all of it right now, aren't they?
yeah, this circulation's getting a lot bigger. You can see that this entire circulation has literally just strengthened. This is a very large area of circulation. Here's the progression of the tornado over the past few minutes. I'm going to say from now, coming up to an hour near enough. You can see how this circulation has just kept on growing and kept on getting stronger. This is a very alarming situation. I'm not going to say anything rash should be issued, such as tornado emergency. That would be OTT. Hasn't stopped the National Weather Service before, because the Kosciuszko tornado got a tornado emergency issued for that, but there's very unlikely to have a tornado emergency issued for this, because it looks like, compared to me, looking at the last frame, this couple looks to have weakened, but the northern side looks to have grown. Whether this tornado is starting to cycle or starting to wither away remains to be seen, but I'm thinking it could be starting to wither away. I'm hoping it's withering away.
Okay. Gemma Hassani says, official reports say that Hurricane Maria's total damage cost is slightly over $90 billion. Do you agree with this report?
Depending on where that's come from.
I would say depends what we mean by this numerical value. Are we talking about damages, or are we talking about reconstruction and humanitarian aid?
I mean, reconstruction would probably be around that. I'd suggest it would be close.
Okay, let's move on. What is the possibility of a tornado system going into South Florida? Now, I looked at some of the models earlier today, and it was hinting at some severe weather occurring in southern Florida. Is that still on the cards or no?
I'm actually going to show you some of what the Storm Prediction Center is saying.
Yes.
Because obviously they are the go-to resource, especially for tracking or waiting for tornadic systems. Potentially, let's have a look here. Storm Prediction Center. Share that screen. Okay, so here we go. So let's go back to, that was day 7. That's day 6. That's too far out. There is a chance. So SPC has caught wind of that. So here's current. No, not current. That's day 2. Come on, keep going back. There we go. So here's what the Storm Prediction Center is saying right now. An enhanced risk for severe weather in North Carolina right for now anyway. A slight chance in Florida, North Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Tampa, and St. Petersburg. Marginal, Baltimore, Washington, Miami, Florida. Do literally scream at me if I'm butchering this.
Most likely, but people get the message.
Hialeah and Arlington. So, and pretty much chances for tornadoes are 10% at the highest for Greensboro, North Carolina, Winston, Salem, North Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, High Point, North Carolina, North Charleston, South Carolina. 5% chance for Jacksonville, Florida, Charlotte, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, and a 2% chance for the marginal areas.
It's also interesting to note that pretty much all the severe thunderstorm warnings currently going on, all of them have 1-inch size hail or quarter-sized hail, and there's only one that has less than quarter-inch sized hail in it, and that one's near Florence, Venezuela, Maryland. It was 40 miles an hour when they arrive near your area.
And I suppose it's a fitting time for me now to let everyone know about what's going on elsewhere in the US in terms of warnings. Here's the National Weather Service homepage, as you saw on Craig's browser not so long ago, and I think we ought to at least pick up on a lot of those other warnings that are out there. Massive areas of red flag warnings, extreme fire risk in western parts of Texas, Oklahoma, into many of those other adjacent states as far west as Arizona. And further east there, you've got some freeze warnings in parts of in places that had the tornado outbreak yesterday.
Exactly.
And then further north, you've got blizzard warnings. Blizzard warnings in part of Wisconsin.
That's incredible.
and winter storm warnings in Wisconsin, just about into Minnesota and into Michigan, and a small part of New York State as well, with winter weather advisories for a large chunk of that area too. So it's a crazy situation in the US today, and lots of flooding concerns as well.
Yeah.
If you've got any questions or comments for us whilst we're on the air, which is, as I said at the start, for an indeterminable time, do get involved. Start your message with Force 13 all in text, and we'll take it from there. If we do get some time away from the storms and the tornadoes, we will talk about the upcoming hurricane season as well. I know many people want to talk about that, so we'll have an open session on that one as well, I think. But in the meantime, we're looking at this.
Yeah, I think the tornado has weakened somewhat. The couplet's not as well defined as it once was, but the northern part of that couplet is still there, still relatively same strength as it was, but the southern part of that couplet, which was in the green, has completely vanished. Not completely, but it's still there, but I'm reckoning there might not be a tornado there anymore.
Yeah, Craig, damage has been reported from this. I think you mentioned that, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Damage to homes has been reported. Numerous trees and power lines are down at Nealtown Road and October Lane in Greensboro.
Ah, yeah, here we go. Two tornado reports in the same tornado. Okay, our tornado is fighting back. Okay, I'm gonna go get back to that as soon as I can. So here's the reports that Nathan was reading out here. So this is the report reported by emergency manager and reported by trained spotter. So there is a storm chaser that has witnessed this tornado and has witnessed damage, or maybe just come across the damage just now. So this is a long track tornado as tornado tracking goes.
Yeah, quite.
Which does beg the question, this could actually be a wedge tornado or a very significant tornado on the ground. But that's hard to tell because, as you can see, the reports here aren't very descriptive. They're only a short, the tornado has done this, but there's no telling how heavy that damage is. So here's the progression of the cell that has the tornado still there. As far as I know, I think it's still on the ground now. It's maybe done a little bit of cycling, a little bit, but you can see here that the cell has how it's progressed. I'll just zoom out a little bit and turn the warnings off so everyone can see it a little better. Turn the markers off. So here you can see how the cell's progressed in the last hour or so. And I mean, you can see how short a period that this tornado took to physically go from this pretty much next to nothing, a disorganized mess, to that of a possible significant tornado. But here you can see is actually here is a bow echo, and you can see how why it's called a bow echo. And you see it looks very, very much like an archer's bow, except you're just missing this string and somebody holding it. So this is why it's called a bow echo. It looks like a bow.
Said Craig.
You see, yes, as I'll reiterate many, many times, bow echoes are pretty significant. They are very dangerous. You can see here, this is a very well-defined bow echo that could be producing winds, say, of around 60 miles per hour, gust-wise. Sustained winds could be around 60 or 50 or 60 miles per hour, but that depends on how strong this is and what the actual confirmed reports of wind are. That's only radar estimates, but radar estimates are going to be completely different compared to what ground reports will be.
The images that we were showing on here as well, they're not new warnings, but they are still in effect, as far as I'm aware. Yep. Severe thunderstorm warnings over a large part of north central, and well, all of central North Carolina at this time.
Yeah, Yeah, that's pretty much where they're going to be based now. But this, you can see here, a couple is still there. It's just because of where the radar was looking at, it's starting to move out of that radar site. So it's going to start becoming very difficult to view it. But I'm also watching this area here, southeast of Rocky Mount, which Isaac was pointing out of, that this little area is pretty much the exact same as this area as our current tornado. Inflows coming in from the south. You can see here the bow-like feature, even on base velocity or on the velocities, which is quite impressive. But you can see this inflow of the tornado here, of our current one, is coming up from the south, and then our RFD, if there is any, which I'm imagining there will be, is coming around the storm and following very close behind it, as you would expect with RFD. But that depends, seeing as how this is a bow echo, and you have an embedded tornado in it. But I'm also going to be keeping an eye on this one, the one that Isaac was mentioning earlier on. This could also tighten up and produce a tornado, because it looks like it's trying.
Do you think this system could get worse, or more diverse, or more confusing, according to LC Storm? The question.
Well, in terms of worse, when you see storms go into a squall line, they don't normally get as significant as this. Then that normally means that the outbreak's on its way out. This is normally its one last big hurrah, if you like, because normally storms, say, going back to, say, Canton, the Canton outbreak last year, that produced tornado after tornado after tornado. That could literally just go for days, which it did, but it eventually merged into a squall line and then moved gradually eastward, which this one is doing. So pretty much, this is not going to, in my mind, is not going to get any worse in terms of its current state, but expecting tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, yes. Expect plenty of those. Tornado warnings might decrease during the period, during this time period anyway. I know there's only one, but you get what I mean. It's mainly going to be severe thunderstorm warnings that are going to be the main feature of this system. Mainly.
And we're also looking at a satellite picture of what the storm has been doing, and it's sort of like a big shelf, really, that's, it's night and day, one side compared to the other.
Classic squall line, and they're overshooting tops. I mean, it's a sight to behold when you're viewing it on Go 16.
Isaac, what do you think?
I think it's a big mess.
That's pretty much what bow echoes are.
I mean,
a big mess, a lot of damage.
I mean, people watching our channel are used to seeing hurricanes, so it's not it's not pretty by hurricane standards.
No, by hurricane standards, I would rather grab
a
a sick bag and throw up in it. But
you know what's going to happen now? People are going to mention a particular storm in history.
Don't.
But we'll just leave that there and go back to Craig's screen.
Yeah, just leave that in the dig its grave and leave it. Stop poking it.
Go on then, keep going. As far away from as possible.
You can see this tornado that is still supposedly on the ground near Ruffin, or probably passing right over Ruffin, but looking at it. But you can see, actually, could be your hook echo right here. It's an embedded hook, so this is only just starting to show up. I think that could be a very low-scale debris ball, and if it is, that's bad, because that means debris ball is exactly what it says. It's carrying debris.
It's bad news, and
it was doing damage.
I'm not seeing any warnings that have been extended time-wise at the moment.
Still the same tornado warning, but this one here is starting to try. You can see here that this couplet here is now starting to kick up. The one that Isaac was pointing out looks like the start. So this one here could also start thinking about going tornado warned. Not soon, but I'm guessing say in the next maybe 10-20 minutes. or so. I'm not trying to be some wise ass here, but that's generally the timestamp I would probably give it. But we'll see what it does. Where's this one?
5 outstanding warnings at the minute. 4 severe thunderstorm warnings and 1 tornado warning, unless things have changed at all.
No, it's still the same. How many severe warnings did you say there were?
5 in all.
I'm seeing. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4?
And the
Unless
tornado.
I'm missing one.
Which was just
Oh, there we
extended.
go.
Is it?
Yeah, this one's a general tornado warning. This one isn't confirmed. This one has been just an extended tornado warning.
Well, that's the area they'll extend into next, won't they, with the warnings?
You can actually see here. This is a very large hook echo. This here could be your hook echo. That's a big tornado if that is a hook echo.
Blimey.
That's very large. And there's your inflow notch. If this is a tornado, this is your inflow notch. And this is your hook echo, and this could be your tornado, or somewhere in it could be. But looking at it, I can't tell whether is that trying to cycle or is it all in one.
You can certainly see that there is something there.
Yeah, there is something very
And
significant
And
there.
for my untrained eye, Craig, I think that your suggestion of a large tornado just west of Ruffin, is it? Or is it Rufflin? I can't quite make out the
Ruffin.
text.
It's Ruffin.
Just west of there, don't you think? It's a large tornado.
It could be that.
potentially?
I mean, that's hard to tell.
Or
because
is
of the
that
way-
multiple debris balls?
a tornado with double debris balls? I wouldn't really think that's physically possible.
I mean, you
A
tell me,
cyclone
I know
tornado-
nothing on the subject.
A cycling tornado, maybe, where the mesocyclone is starting to split, which is a very rare occurrence if that happens, because the last time that did happen was Dodge City, where the main mesocyclone physically split
So,
and
Craig,
then
just to
went on to
tell
produce.
the viewers, the tornado warning has been extended. Here it is. It now covers all of those locations: Collins, Roseville, Danville, Mount Hermon, Dry Fork, and Chatham, the places included in that map. Population of 91,000 in there. Take cover now if you're in that area.
Yep. And this tornado is probably still rain wrapped, so please do not wait to hear or even see it. Get into an interior room with pretty much enough walls between you and the tornado as possible. Take some pillows, cushions, mattress if you need to, and some blankets as well to protect you from the flying projectiles that will be flying about in the tornado if this tornado is doing damage. And this thing could be heading for Danville, which, looking at this, is populated, but looking at the map,
Just
And this
northeast
tornado
of
is still
Ruffin
there.
there.
yeah, it's passing very close to Ruffin. And
I'm quite
this could be
concerned
heading
about
for
that.
Danville. This tornado
And-
could be heading for Danville.
Mhm. And please take your tornado precautions now, because this thing is moving fast at northeast at 50 miles an hour. So I strongly recommend, like what Craig said, go in the interior-most part of your house away from windows, the centermost part of it, where just put as many walls between you and a tornado. Cover yourself with blankets, pillows, or a mattress if you can. And hunker down there until the tornado threat passes over and you're able to assess the damage, because this thing's moving really, really fast. So please take them now if we are in the area of Danville.
Because I'm guessing in the next couple of minutes, we could, if this thing does not hit Danville, even Pelham, I hope you are underground right now, because this tornado is about to hit you on the eastern edge, which could be the strongest part of the tornado, which is what you really don't want.
Don't know if you're able to draw a line or anything to measure distance from Ruffin to where was it? Danville.
Oh, GR level 2 had that. God.
Nah,
Ruffin to what?
to
From
Danville.
Ruffin to Danville. Oh, this would be a couple of, say, 10 miles or so, depending.
Well, looking at radar here at around, looks to be
5-10 miles.
going off of some other towns. It looks like around, let me see, 22 kilometers away.
Right, about 15
Probably
miles, and
less.
that image is from 2 minutes
Probably
ago,
less.
and it's moving at 50 miles an hour, so
So this tornado
Yeah.
is pretty much
quick.
would be round about here
10
in that
minutes
case.
or less.
Oh, there's a recent image. Nope, that's not. That is.
Let me look at
There's a
Velocity.
recent. This is rain wrapped. This is completely rain wrapped. You will not see this. If there was a tornado in there, do as I keep saying, and I will reiterate: do not wait to hear or see it. Get into an interior hallway with as much walls between as many walls as you can get between you and the approaching tornado. If you have a basement, get into it. If you do not, get into either the hallway, bring a mattress, bring some pillows, cushions, whatever to protect you from the flying debris. And also,
Yeah.
or if you can't get into it in time, get into a bathtub. That's
or a closet too, because closets
or
are
your closet.
yeah.
Go-
Just get into the innermost part of a room, and I put on a distance here between a tornado and Danville, and the center part of Danville, and it seems to be around 13.5 kilometers away. Or now,
Yeah, not
Yeah,
far
this
Actually,
away.
now
tornado,
the-
this tornado is starting
yeah.
to pick up strength, and this tornado is really starting to getting the hammer down.
a new radar image appeared, and now it's about 11 kilometers away from Danville.
Yeah,
if I'm
Danville.
measuring
If
it
you're in
correctly.
Danville right now, literally about to take a direct hit from probably a very big tornado.
Mhm.
And
And
if this area does have tornado sirens, those tornado sirens are not lying. This isn't a false alarm. Get below ground if you can. Take shelter. This tornado is not hanging about.
Can we tell
Yeah,
anything
and-
more from its structure, Craig?
Well, looking at this tornado has definitely gone stronger. This is probably the strongest reading I've got from it so far in its lifetime. This could be, if there is any visible presentation on the ground, say storm chaser or emergency service personnel have seen it. It could be either, I'm not even going to try and bother giving you an estimate of size. It could be between the size of say a stovepipe to wedge tornado, but either way, I don't really care how big this tornado is. Oh god, oh Jesus Christ! When I say wedge, it looks like it just became one. I jinxed it.
And like Craig said, we're gonna have to repeat this over and over again. Take cover in the innermost part of your house. Get into a storm shelter or a basement as soon as possible. If you can, this thing is moving at 50 miles an hour, so you're not gonna really have too much time to even prepare for this thing. Innermost part of your house, away from windows. Get as many walls between you and a tornado. Like for instance, go into a bathroom or a closet with no windows, or hallway if it's in the centermost part of your house. Cover yourself with pillows, blankets, or a mattress if you can, because this thing's going to be red on you probably any minute now. It's moving at 50, so that's really all we can say is just take cover if you're in Danville or in the
'cause
surrounding areas.
this tornado, looking at base velocity, has just gotten bigger, and it looks like it could be an unfortunate wedge.
Yeah.
Heading for Danville. If it is a wedge tornado, then there's virtually no words to describe how horrific seeing a large wedge, let alone any form of tornado, but a wedge tornado going into a city is horrific.
Now, let's not forget it is a confirmed tornado, and it's quite clear by anyone's standards.
Oh yeah. If this wasn't confirmed, I would be virtually bald with the amount of hairs I'd be pulling out of my head. If this wasn't confirmed, it's not the first time I've seen unconfirmed unconfirmed but confirmed tornadoes that you know yourself that on radar it's a tornado, but National Weather Service have not warned it. Or confirmed tornado. Yep, confirmed tornado warning has been extended.
I think it will miss Danville just to the west, but it could affect the western
But
suburb
let's turn
area.
off radar here. Let's give ourselves a good geographical look at Danville. So
Population's
here's the
42,000.
So our current tornadic our tornado's path is, so pretty much, I'm going to put my cursor here. I'm going to put a marker right there, right? So where I'm going to turn off the tornado report and put the marker there. So the tornado is literally right here, right where this marker is, and it's moving towards Danville. It's probably going to hit the western side of Danville right now, if it holds its current track, which is major to say the least, because this is where, looking at the map, is where most of the major structuring is for Danville. So there's virtually no words to describe this. This is, if you are in Danville, take shelter now, because
and all those places nearby.
yeah.
The places nearby are Chatham, Blair's, and Collins, and Mount Airy, and then also Danville, of course. If we're in the following areas, I'm going to repeat them again: Danville,
Oh,
Chatham,
God.
Blair's, Collins, and Mount Airy. Please take cover now. The stain's going to be on you. In fact, it might be already on you or on you in a few
This
seconds
tornado
here.
is just getting bigger. It's just going bigger.
Mount Airy on the very edge of the tornado warning zone at the moment. It's just outside, but the tornado is heading that way as well.
This tornado is literally starting to enter Danville right now. This tornado is virtually entering Danville. We could literally start to see a debris ball any minute. Unfortunately.
That's crazy that we're watching this kind of thing unfold in near real
If
time.
we see a debris ball start kicking up, then unfortunately we know people are losing their homes.
A quick note. Just to the northeast of Rocky Mount, where that possible short-lived circulation was, there has been reported wind damage there as of 4:43 p.m. But the main focus right now is Danville and the surrounding areas.
Yeah,
Like
there
I said-
probably was something there. Just looking at that circulation again, Isaac, there could have been something there, but it is on its way out. But looking at it, but there's the Danville tornado.
And the
This is
severe
just a
thunderstorm
wedge.
warning has been extended for central North Carolina for these areas, now valid until 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Up to 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-sized hail possible in this area.
Oh my god, this. I mean, you just can't help but feel helpless in a way just looking at this. You just know that if here's your tornado. There it is. This big ball right here. That's it. That is it right there. And right here is your inflow notch. Somewhere in there is your inflow notch. And here's your RFD cutting around the tornado. This is a very large tornado looking at this. I don't know what there is. It could be a very large wedge tornado. I'm not going to give you an exact size because wedges range from 300 yards wide to El Reno width. And beyond, pretty much, if you want to say wedge, because wedges are infinite. But looking at this, yeah. This is very possibly and very likely a wedge tornado, unfortunately.
So this is what we're looking at right now, the epicenter of the warning coverage this evening so far. Centers on Danville, a city with a population of 42,000. The surrounding area that's under the tornado warning right now, population's 91,000. So potential for significant issues in that locality.
Oh god, yeah. This tornado has. Oh, god. This tornado looks like it could have just spared Danville, the major city of Danville itself, but there are homes in its way. These homes right here, they're in the direct path of this tornado. In fact, they're getting hit. They're getting hit by this tornado, if there is one.
And after this thing passes Danville, the following locations also need to be taken tornado precautions now. Chatham, Belaires, Collins, and Mount Airy. Again, Chatham, Belaires, Collins, and Mary. If we're in the following counties or areas, please take your tornado precautions right now and go into a shelter. Like me and Craig have been saying, innermost part of your room away from windows. For instance, a closet, a bathroom with no windows, or a hallway. If not, cover yourself with blankets or pillows, anything you can to protect yourself from any flying debris as this thing moves on, moving at 50 miles an hour.
Craig, when was the last time you were tracking something of this magnitude?
Canton. In fact, this year I would go for the Coshita tornado. A very well-defined hook echo and very well-defined RFD. You could work out where the structure was. But something of this magnitude, I would have to say Canton, because I'd never seen a tornado so violent. For me, if that Canton tornado did hit something at its peak intensity, it was very well built. It was very likely that tornado could have got EF5. Very, very likely. I think EF4 was pretty much the area of Canton that didn't get a direct hit from it, because Canton itself didn't get a direct hit. The main town of Canton got missed to the west. That's how close the wedge came to hitting Canton directly. But that shows you it's all down to luck, depending on where the tornado's going. I mean,
Craig, sorry to interrupt, but I'm looking at a live stream here right now, and I'm not able to share it because it's copyrighted right now. But looking at the stream, it looks like there is possibly indeed at least stovepipe tornado around the area.
What's its sideward on the motions on the side? Is it rapid rising or is it just?
Well, I can't look at the stream right now, but it's the person who is watching the storm spotter is near Pittsylvania County, Virginia, United States. And,
so he is seeing this.
Yeah, looks like the thing is at least a stovepipe tornado. It's hard to tell, but it looks at least a stovepipe.
So there is precipitation obscuring this if it's making it hard.
Yeah.
So this is a rain-wrapped tornado.
I don't know how long the delay is on this thing, but the thumbnail shows that it looks like at least a stovepipe.
At least. So from what you're seeing, it looks like a stovepipe. I mean, the base velocity, it shows of at least a violent tornado. At least a violent tornado. So that's violent tornadoes normally stretch between EF3 to unfortunately EF5, but I don't think this will be an EF5. The circulation is not that strong. I'm guessing probably if there is damage, probably likely to be EF3 or maybe EF4, but I'm gonna hold judgment until the experts go out there themselves.
And again, he's watching us from Pennsylvania County, which is about where the tornado is at, and again, it looks like at least a stovepipe, but it's hard to tell what's there.
Parts of Danville, the outer skirts of the Danville area, have been hit by this tornado. You can see it here. Yeah, see this little dark area here? That is a very light scale debris ball. Very, very light debris. Which means that this tornado is hitting this area here, this little area of homes. So, unfortunately, homes are being hit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm watching it live right now, and it still looks to be at least a stovepipe. It might be trying to go wedge, but it's hard to tell what the
trying to wedge. Looking at this, this radar signature would probably support that.
Craig, I'm gonna send you the link, but it's not for broadcast, so I'll just send it to you privately.
I'm not gonna get Nathan in trouble. I'm not gonna get Nathan in trouble.
But yeah, it looks at least a stovepipe, but it's hard to tell with that rain and covering a little bit. Wow. Again, please take cover with this thing.
Jesus.
This thing's moving at 50 miles an hour, so please take tornado precautions as soon as you can.
Looking at this, Isaac, I would confirm that that's probably trying to go wedge, if not wedge already. looking at this radar.
The severe
I
thunderstorm
sense
warning
it.
in the area has been extended as well. All of these areas now under a severe thunderstorm warning till 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Let's have a look. I'm just gonna have a quick look at this radar for now. Not radar. This stream that Isaac has sent me. For now, I'm not gonna screen share it as it is copyrighted. I've used this live streaming site for live storm chasers myself, so I'm not gonna get Nathan in trouble and everyone else.
Well,
But
just
looking
report
at
on
it-
what you see.
What chaser was it, Isaac?
Chris White.
Chris White.
And now we
Um,
can't really see it anymore now. It looks to be rain wrapped.
Tornado
Oh,
warning
God
is still in
Christ.
effect for the area.
Isaac, I hate to tell you this, but that is a rain rat wedge.
Oh, wow.
That is a rain rat wedge. Looking at that,
That's a monster.
depending, it's hard to tell, but looking at that dark mass could be a wedge. It's hard to tell.
Did you see the thumbnail of it? The thumbnail showed it earlier, and it looked like it was kind of borderline
be.
wedge stovepipe. But
I'm
again,
gonna probably say cone/barrel.
please
I'm probably
take
gonna go
cover if you're
cone.
in this. Please,
Yeah.
please take cover. Get into the
Oh, we cannot
interiormost part
stress
of your
that enough.
house. Get into the interiormost part of your house, away from windows, preferably. Maybe a hallway with no windows. Just get as many walls between you
Oh
and a
Jesus
tornado.
Christ, no!
Um,
Oh
like
no,
a
no, no,
bathroom
no.
or a closet with no windows. Cover yourself with pillows, blankets, anything you can, and do it now because this thing's moving at a quick 50 miles an hour. And
Yeah,
this is for Chatham,
this-
Blair's, Collins, and Mount Airy.
This tornado is hitting these homes now. These areas of homes are being hit by the tornado as we speak. Looking at radar, the couplet is literally passing right over these houses. Yeah.
That must be a pretty big tornado.
Yeah, this is pretty significant. You're seeing a tornado. This thing literally went tornado warned right at the start of the stream. We've seen that ourselves. This thing went from pretty much a piddly little weak rotational cell to
Let's bring
producing a
you-
monster.
Back with the viewers here. LC Storm says, what does a rain-wrapped wedge look like?
You can't see it,
It's pretty much
But
just a
from a
big,
distance-
massive rain.
but from a distance, sometimes you can see it, and it's a very large black mass moving from left to right, depending on how quick it's moving. If you're
Yeah.
lucky enough and it's just coming out from rain, you can maybe catch the left edge, depending on your position. But to spot a rain-wrapped tornado, look at it very closely. Watch the sides. If you're seeing very rapid rising motion, then that means you're looking at a rain-wrapped tornado. But if you're chasing it, I wouldn't advise going to see it. I wouldn't advise going even remotely close to the rain. That would be literally just pure suicide, because you would be hook slicing, which is one of the most dangerous maneuvers for a storm chaser to do, let alone do the bear cage maneuver, which is also very dangerous because that can also have a tornado literally drop right on your head without warning.
Oh yeah. Looking at Chris White's location, he's like right in the path of that tornado. If he stays where he's at, he's probably gonna get hit by it.
Oh jeez, that's a low base. That is a low base.
The next area that the tornado will hit is around Chatham. If we're in Chatham, please take cover immediately. This thing's gonna be on you in a few minutes. It's moving at 50 miles an hour to the northeast. So
Well, at the minute, Dry Fork is a populated area. It's a lightly populated town, but it's next.
It's what we'd call a hamlet here in the UK. Chatham, also a small place, population 1,500. But obviously,
Just looking at it now that Chris is making a run for it, I mean, no wonder. The tornado,
Yeah,
the base looks like
Mhm.
it's very, very...
Yeah, if he would have stayed where he's
Normally
at, he's gonna be
beast.
directly hit by it.
And
looking at this,
severe thunderstorm warning has been extended in North Carolina until 7:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, covering this fairly large area here.
oh, there you go. There's your hook.
1.25 million in this zone, so make sure you're alert and stay hunkered down. That is south of the tornado area at the moment, but tornadoes could still develop from this system.
Oh, here you go. There's your clear hook. Here's your hook echo now, and there's your inflow notch coming from the south. There it is. There's your hook, and then your RFD's coming around the back. You can see the nice little clear slot starting to develop. There's your RFD. There's your rear flank downdraft. If you don't know what RFD means, it's rear flank downdraft, which is an area that which pretty much is the thunderstorm's downdraft, and I would advise staying away from it because RFD can get impeccably strong to the point of blowing out windows, snapping power poles, taking down trees, and also toppling vehicles.
You may understand right now that we're not answering any messages at the minute whilst we track this tornado. However, one or two of our representatives at Force 13 US and AU, I believe, are on hand to answer your questions. At least they were around earlier, so hopefully they'll see to your questions. If the situation does calm down, we'll be able to talk more about other matters.
I think for that, and Nathan, sorry about that, for the situation calming down, we're going to be here for a while.
Well, we don't know.
I mean, this tornado still has a hell of a lot of juice left in it.
They can go rather abruptly, though, can't they?
Oh yeah, they can. But looking at this, this is your inflow. This is the tornado's inflow. All this area red is pretty much where all the moisture, all this cell's hauling in the moisture. And look at the size of the hook echo. That is the physical size of it. And looking at the stream, this storm is extremely high precipitation, but from the base and what I've seen, it's a low base. The difference between a low base supercell and a high base is pretty much is exactly as it says. The base of the thunderstorm on a low base is extremely low and can produce wedge tornadoes, whereas high base storms can produce tornadoes, but they're not as strong and they're not as big. Some of them can be, say, cone-sized, but that would be about it. But it's with low base supercells, those are the ones that are dangerous because they produce a lot of rain, hot hail the size of grapefruit, winds that pack around, say, wind speeds of 100 miles an hour plus. And then you have your tornadoes that are also on top of that. So that's pretty much insult to injury.
And like we've been saying, please take cover if you're in Chatham or the surrounding areas. If you're in the surrounding areas or in the areas of Chatham, Blair's, Collins, and Mount Airy. I believe Danville is pretty much out of it right now, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe getting some more rain.
Yeah. Danville right now, if you're in Danville, you are in the clear. You are safe.
But Chatham, Blair's, Collins, and Mount Airy, if we're around those surrounding areas, please still stay.
Sorry.
Please take, like we've been saying, get into the interiormost part of your house, away from windows, preferably a bathroom, closet, or a hallway with no windows. Get as many walls between you and the tornado. Cover yourself with pillows, blankets, and huddle in there and hope that no debris gets into your house. If you have a basement or a storm shelter, please get into that too, as fast as you can, because like we've said, this thing's moving fast at northeast at 50 miles an hour. Go ahead, Craig.
If you're in Dry Fork, Spring Garden, and Chatham, as Isaac said, you are in extreme danger. Looking at this, because this tornado is heading right for you. Dry Fork right now has taken a hit. Looking at this, looking at the radar, this is a direct hit on Dry Fork. So Holmes, we're probably going to start seeing a debris ball, somewhat of a debris ball. So this tornado is passing literally right over Dry Fork right now. We have a potential large and extremely destructive tornado, not extremely, but destructive nonetheless. Tornado going over Dry Fork right now, moving northeast towards Chatham and Spring Garden. If you are in those areas, as I said, take shelter now. Unless this tornado is going to start weakening, which looking like at the couplet, it looks like it's starting to weaken. Please keep weakening.
National Weather Service also issued a tornado watch until 12 midnight Eastern time for this area, which is... where is that? I think that... I'm not too well versed. I think it's Southern Virginia there, further east.
Yeah. Tornado watch is pretty much what you're watching now is the area that's in the flash flood warnings or flash flood watches and tornado watches and severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are the areas that you're going to be watching as a severe weather subsides, which it will start to do because this is it now in the peak area of where the SPC expected it to be. So this is it. This is it, and it's probable last hurrah. And it's throwing one hell of a last hurrah. It's produced a large tornado that's probably caused a hell of a lot of damage. Looking at it from what we've worked out, unfortunately. And it looks like it's still going for now from what I can see, but it looks like it's really weakened.
Interesting.
But
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna wait and see.
But
our cell here that Isaac was going on about is trying
yes.
to kick up again. You can see there, it's starting to try and kick up. So we
one?
could have another tornado trying to start. So this one is going to probably try. Whether it does or not is going to be the next question. But for the time being, this tornado, if it's still there anyway, was looking like it could still well be. If there is a tornado in there, even if you are watching this, do not come out from your shelters. You are not clear. No way are you clear, because looking at this, looks like inflow has actually reversed. And here's your inflow notch now, coming around from the back side of the tornado. So probably RFD looks like it now. In fact, so look here. Looks like RFD has actually cut the tornado off. Looks like the RFD has come around. See this clear slot here? It's come around the tornado and has actually cut it off. Because your inflow notch should be relatively to what this should be. Relatively decent in color. Around say 45 to 50 dBT
Great.
on radar.
A
Yes,
severe
Nathan.
thunderstorm warning has been issued for Buena Vista, Lexington, Rockbridge County, northwestern Amherst County, Bedford County in south central Virginia, and eastern Buttigieg County in west central Virginia. That's the graphic that we had on just a moment ago. There it is again. Also including a few of the locations there. And that's a severe thunderstorm warning that is extended further up through Virginia as far as Interstate 64 there.
Looking at it right now, RFD has cut this tornado off, but from what I'm seeing on radar, this tornado, it looks like it is still prominent. It's still there from what I'm seeing on the base reflectivity. So right now there is still the tornado in there, as far as I'm seeing. But this tornado is now on its way out, looking at it, unless this cell does do a complete clear out, meaning where RFD completely invades the base of the cell, goes high precipitation, and then clears out completely. But looking at it, it looks like RFD has started to take its toll on the tornado, so there couldn't try not die here. looking at it, I don't think there is a tornado in this anymore. But I'm actually starting to get really anxious about this one here because this one's starting to look pretty decent. So once this one starts dissipating, which it looks like it's doing, well, in fact, it probably looks like it has roped out. But until this tornado warning has completely dissipated, the tornado warning for the city of Danville is cancelled. The tornadic thunderstorm which prompted the tornado warning has moved out of the warned area. Therefore, the warning has been cancelled. A tornado watch remains in effect until 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for North Carolina.
Were you reading this, Craig? As far as I can see, only part of it has been cancelled.
You're level 3 on the warning statement. This is actually the proper warning on the warning box itself.
Okay.
The tornado warning for the city of Danville, which was the southern part of this, has been cancelled. So that's confirming.
Danville's definitely cancelled, but I'm not sure about Chatham.
They're probably going to cancel this at some point, but for now, I would downgrade it from confirmed tornado to tornado warning, where radar indicated rotation. I don't think there is a tornado in there anymore. I don't think there is. No, I don't think there is anymore. Looking at that, I don't think there is.
How do you deduce that?
Well, what you're looking at is the couplet isn't as tight as it was. To define a tornado, actually, I'm going to pull up the image that I got from the Kashuta tornado. I've still got it. Yes, I stored an image of it, of describing of where the to a good friend of mine of where this RFD and all that was set up. So you're going to see a few lines on it, unfortunately. I didn't keep the original copy like an idiot. Let's try and open it up.
Craig, I don't know if you're able to see on Force 13's Discord server. We do have one, by the way. Add my account on Discord if you'd like to join our chat room, which has it's community-led information. There's a picture of the tornado that hit Greensboro.
Whoa! What the hell's just happened?
What?
My radar just literally just died a death. Okay.
Yeah, looking at that image, it looks like at least a stovepipe in that.
Yeah, could someone
I
describe
think
its
it's time to
appearance
start
to us?
switching target areas from the Chatham tornado to a possible Bedford tornado.
Craig, first
this
of all,
one's really starting to tighten
I
up.
want you to look at that tornado and describe its appearance to the viewers.
Actually, try and bring it up. Seeing as how, no, that's the wrong room. Come on, Discord. Come on.
Oh, then there's some damage now.
Discord.
From that tornado. As Craig's dealing with that, I'm going to describe the damage. The damage looks at least maybe EF1.
Looking at that, that's not a stovepipe.
It's hard to tell.
Looking at that, that's not a stovepipe. That is a pretty large tornado. That's about say
What would you call
200
that?
yards in width. So that's a low scale wedge tornado.
Interesting.
Of around 200 to 300 yards in width. I'm gonna go probably 200 yards at least, at the smallest.
And just so there's no confusion, the tornado warning is still in effect for at least a few more minutes.
But let's see if I can
Chatham.
screen share this one. I'm gonna try and screen share the image of the Kashuta tornado to show what I was on about. I need to remind myself what it was, what I was doing, because there's a yes, that's what I was gonna do. Where's the other app? Oh, for God's sake! Oh, that's not going well at all.
Craig, I think we've got a new tornado warning.
Is it for the one for the north?
I think so.
No, it is
Tornado
not. It's
it
an
not?
extended one.
It is extended.
But it's a regular tornado warning. It's one of where radar indicated rotation. So this means that the tornado is gone, but there is still a circulation in there. So we're going to keep a close eye on that, see whether it does start to ramp up. But the one to the north at Bedford has started to take shape, so we're going to keep a close eye on that one as well. This one could be our next tornado warning for a fresh-born tornado, unfortunately. This is going to be a very long night, unfortunately. But I'm going to try and do my damnedest to the image that I had up.
And a new severe
as best
thunderstorm
as I
warning
can.
as well till 7 p.m. Eastern Time for these areas in North Carolina.
There we go. While that's moving.
Craig, I also sent
moving.
some YouTube videos of the tornado and damage from the tornado that have been recently uploaded.
Looking at, I'll view them later and give a accurate estimate. I wouldn't really say, because I'm gonna hold my hands up here. I am far from a expert on tornadic damage. Obviously, if you know it's clear cut, then you know it's there. But I am certainly far from hell an expert. I am not that. But I may know my stuff about tornadoes, but I can't tell you exactly everything about them. But I know the basics, which for me is good enough. So here's the Coshota tornado from say a week ago or so, maybe more. This is the tornado that you were on about. This is where you can see the inflow notch, where the blue lines are where I've marked. This is the inflow. This is the tornado that prompted the tornado emergency. This was the frame just before the tornado emergency got issued. So here you can see the base velocity. You can see very high colors, pink, and then pretty much white, pushing blue on the color scale that I've got. This is a custom color scale that I've got. And here you can see the black lines. You can see where RFD is pushing around and following tight to the tornado. So at this point, Harmon was getting absolutely blasted by RFD. If just for those who don't, or just joined and don't know what RFD is rear flank downdraft of a supercell, which this was. This was an embedded supercell. RFD is where cold air from the thunderstorm's updraft comes down and comes racing down at extreme speeds, which hit the ground and then pretty much go in a straight line, aka straight line winds. But RFD is where it's pretty much the storm's outflow, and it falls in tight behind a tornado, or it can be completely separate from a tornado, but normally it's tight to the tornado. And when you see this start to come round, because a storm chaser did say that the damage that he saw in Coshota before this tornado did hit them was barely EF0 from what he's seen. And this was an image that I'd also made back that did back up his claim, that RFD was following in tight behind the tornado and probably made this tornado look at least just over a mile wide. That was the confirmed tornado's width, was just over a mile wide.
Confirmed information from Guilford County. Significant damage to at least one home and numerous trees reported down in Greensboro.
Okay, so this couplet's going to try again. This tornado could be cycling, could be not, but we're going to keep an eye on the tornado, the possible rebirth of a tornado. That was our first tornadic supercell. Well, I keep wanting to say supercell, but
Almost is.
Well, supercells. There's a way of defining how they look. You're mainly looking for, say, like a swallow's tail, like a fork, to the north. That normally signifies that this is a supercell, and you've got that nice, clear, very well defined hook echo coming off from the bottom of the supercell. Good examples to look at would be Joplin 2011 during its EF5, where you can clearly see the RFD, inflow notch, the hook echo, and the debris ball, and more.
Craig, there's a tornado warning in Ohio.
Tornado warning in Ohio. Oh, good gracious! Can I get a nosebleed that high up?
Tornado warning in eastern Ohio in these areas.
I'm not convinced. Just because it's that close to the radar. Hang on. Let me get convinced. Oh yeah, there is it's trying. There is some form of a couplet trying to get going in there. But it's hard to tell because of the radar sites, and there aren't really that
area
great.
in terms of population there. That's 840,000 under a tornado warning right now.
Yep, confirmed tornado warning has been lifted on our firstborn tornado. But I'm also looking at this. This is trying to tighten back up again. As you can see, it's really starting to try to tighten back up. But I'm going to keep an eye on this one. But this one here, I don't know what this one's up to. This one's up to something. This one, I think this one's actually gotten considerably bigger. Yeah, this one's gotten bigger, but it's not gotten as strong. This was the strongest it got. Was pretty much that frame here. One of these this frame here, and also the last frame before it died. There is a couplet there. It's very weak, so it's very, very broad. But I wouldn't say that's enough to go tornado warned. But I'm gonna keep an eye on that. This one down here, our firstborn. This could be cycling. So this cell is far from done. Until this doesn't produce any circulations at all.
Current time at 413 HQ, it's 11:32 PM, 1 hour ahead of UTC. In the United States, it is 6:30 on the East Coast. Craig? What's going on?
I'm just currently looking at the damage from the tornado. I mean, this is definitely EF2, but I don't know because this is only some of it. This isn't all of it. This tornado was very significant.
Just a reminder of the tornado warning that is still in effect in Ohio, in the eastern part. Lots of places there in the tornado zone.
Oh, hello.
And you may realise my lack of local knowledge. I've no idea which one of those places are the largest, but you can see all of them marked on the screen.
Craig, have you looked at the videos I sent?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It's EF2 at least. Definitely EF2 damage in there, from what I've seen. But I also need to look at it even more.
And then showing some images that one of our members has showed, it looks like it going off the damage, it looks maybe at least EF1, I want to say. At least.
EF1 for now. But, oh my god.
Because there's an image of a car getting impacted by that a large tree and getting crushed there. So I'm guessing at least EF1 at least. Looking at the damages.
Well, there's an image in there and it shows a multi-vortex tornado. I mean, yeah, looking at the trees, it's at least EF1.
Warning in Ohio. I'll get the details on that in just a second, and see if I could relay that information for you guys who are watching the stream.
There's the tornado warning that is still in effect for those who have just joined us.
Oh, it's trying again. Oh, for God's sake.
Craig,
Yes.
your latest analysis.
It's trying again. It's only just started to try. Gretna's gonna get missed.
We're now
But
also
this is-
joined by David, who's been monitoring the situation closely as well and been posting a lot of the updates, sometimes before us, in the comment section. Good evening,
Ooh, what was that there?
if he's there.
Getting very suspicious about that area here.
Good to be here, Nathan. I just had to turn the audio off to the live stream, but I will go nothing less than probably EF1 or even EF2, and we'll see how that one goes. But definitely EF1 going by the reports. Some of the material that I've posted.
Now you're our news watcher. What's the latest on the ground?
One of the videos that I've seen on social platforms showed two males, one recording, capturing the graphic video material, and another one forcing his way in through the front door to rescue his grandmother. Emergency sirens going off, so that is
Wow.
as a result of that tornado. So I'll continue to monitor, Nathan, and good to be back on the live stream.
I don't know why my Discord disconnected me, but I was gonna read for the Ohio tornado warning. Locations that may be impacted by this possible tornado are the following: Greentown, Broomfield, Brady Lake, Windham, Atwater, Stowe, Aurora, Robertsville, Perry Heights, and Sugar Bus Knolls. Again, those are the following counties that possibly may be impacted by this radar-indicated Ohio tornado. And if you're in those areas, please take your tornado precautions as this thing goes over those areas or near those following areas.
I'm getting suspicious about this one here. This area here and this area, and also a third, which is our main one. I'm thinking our other one here near Mount Erie decided to die. So it's these here. I don't know what the one up here is like because I can't see it.
And the tornado warning that we were following earlier, the first one, I think they updated it recently now, and now it's radar indicated, and the locations
impacted starting to really kick up again though.
The locations for the one in Virginia, the following locations may be impacted by the weakening tornado are Alta Vista, Hurt, Gretna, Huddleston, and Rexburg, Virginia. If you're in those following locations, also take your tornado precautions as this thing moves on through. And that's in Virginia. Severe warnings, there's plenty of them. Don't know if you guys want me to read all of them. There's like 6.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. There's a severe thunderstorm warning issued by the Raleigh, North Carolina National Weather Service office. It has 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. Locations impacted by this severe thunderstorm are Raleigh, Durham, Cary, Chapel Hill, Oxford, Roxborough, Creedmoor, Wake Forest, Garner, and Workway, Varna. And this storm has 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail in it.
It's mainly a line
warnings.
extending from central North Carolina to sort of northwestern Virginia there, including the tornado. Well, what was?
Another one issued is located 8 miles south of Fort Bragg, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour, has 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and small hail. Locations for that one that might be impacted are Fayetteville, Sanford, Leamington, Fort Bragg, Dunn, Anger, Godwin, Pope Air Force Base, Hope Mills, and Spring Lake. That's severe thunderstorm warning. And there's 3 other ones here. Another one in North Carolina. This one is near. This one's near Prospect Hill. It's 6 miles south of Pittsburgh, moving east at 15 miles an hour, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and quarter-sized hail in this one as well. Locations for this one that might be impacted are Chapel Hill, Hillsborough, Pittsboro, Carborough, Crosswinds Boating Center, Elferland, Crossfields Campground, Eno, River State Park, Skyley, I believe that's what it's called, and Jordan Lake State Rec Arena. 2 more here. This one in Blacksburg, Clemsburg, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour, 60 mile an hour gusts and quarter-sized hail. Locations for this one impacted include Lexington, Buena Vista, Bedford, Buchanan, I believe that's called, and Glasgow. And then there's one more, the last one. The last one. Let me see here. Oh, this one seems to have expired already.
All right.
And
We're
that's
now
it, and that's
joined
by Marcel.
by Marcel.
Hello.
Good
Hello,
evening.
guys. Good
Marcel
evening.
joins us from Colombia. And what's your opinion or remarks about the latest tornado severe weather situation?
I'm going to see. I only say that people of Virginia and Ohio need to be safe, and also need to be safe.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for that. And we'll keep everyone up to date on the latest
Yes.
as the situation continues. 2 main areas right now.
Okay, so what's that? Damages, that's... I'm actually going to give that EF2.
Yeah, I think I agree with EFT looking at the damage.
Yeah, looks like EF2 damage. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is an EF2. Which means that the area didn't take a direct hit. This is the image that's been shown.
Oh,
That does look like EF2 damage. This is
Wow.
looking like a mobile home, which is one of the worst places to be. But yeah, that's a very significant tornado at least.
I'm curious to see if any of our viewers have asked any questions in the time we've been on so far.
there'll have been many that have gone by that aren't particularly relevant. We'll open up to comments again. If you have any comments for us, start your message with Force 13 all in text, and we might reply if it's sensible.
If it's sensible.
Yes,
Which
the disclaimer has to be there.
Okay, our couple is getting stronger in our firstborn. Oh, God's sake, again? Really? Yeah, it's getting stronger again. Oh, for God's sake.
Which one is this? The one in Ohio or the one in Virginia?
The firstborn.
Oh, the Virginia one.
Yep.
Um.
It's going stronger again.
Ooh. I could quickly check to see if anybody's.
I mean, it's not
Oh,
there yet, but it's getting stronger.
Here's a question from Norway tracking. What is the most average Atlantic hurricane season in recent history?
God's sake.
Anyone know? I'm trying to think.
No comment.
I'm just thinking about the numbers. I mean, 2015 was very close to... Yeah, I would say 2015 is the most average season in recent history.
I don't see this cell being tour worn much longer.
It's the Ohio one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't
Can you
see
zoom
it.
in toward possible circulation, maybe?
It's the whole darn thing.
Oh.
I mean, take your pick.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of areas.
Goodness me.
I mean, my
Yeah.
best guess would be in here. My best guess would be here.
So around Sugar Brush, Knowles,
Yeah, looking at that.
and north of Kent.
But I'm surprised that this area here hasn't been put in the warning as well.
Does that
So
say
that's trying.
Remainderville or Reminderville?
Yeah, Remainderville.
Remainder.
Yeah, Remainderville north of there.
It's giving us all a remainder. Sorry.
Remainder. What a weird name. We do have some questions. What relationship does global warming have to do with tornadoes?
Oh dear God.
If anyone wants to take on that question.
Greg.
I knew I'd get slumped with this. Well, it really depends, but global warming basically is
define it?
induced moisture. But
Oh, we
there's a lot
struggled
to
with
go
the
into it.
we struggled with the
Yes.
signal briefly there. Repeat, Craig.
It mainly induces moisture that comes off from the Gulf of Mexico. It's very, very complex. I'd be here for hours explaining it.
Marcel?
Yes, I think global warming should like increase moisture. If I am saying yes.
Which is pretty much what Craig said. LC Storm says, any updates on Invest 90W? I looked at it earlier today, it looked awful. It will always look awful, it will never develop. Random Thing says, do you think that Harvey costs more than Katrina in damages?
Oh, for God's sake.
It is a valid question.
Obviously, just because of devaluation.
Oh, well there we are. Marcel answered
Yeah,
it for
that
us.
too, and you had the fact of extreme record flooding that was off the charts.
In real terms, I personally think no. By real terms, I mean the amount of property that has actually been damaged rather than the value of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go for that.
Let's see, is there anything else right now?
Okay.
So very odd questions. Okay, so, well, Craig, what's the latest on this?
Not much change, actually, which is a first.
And not much change in the warnings either. No new warnings out that we haven't mentioned already.
Maybe the southern part of the couple is going on. Oh, never mind.
Is there a
Stop
possibility
trying.
for a tornado near New York in the near future?
I didn't catch the question.
No, I don't think
Yeah,
the
your
viewers did
connection went
either.
down.
Is there a possibility of a tornado near New York in the near future? Was the question.
Well, New York is no stranger to tornadoes. New York has
I don't know
been
whether they
hit by-
mean tonight or what.
Tonight, probably not.
Yes, people asking about our former member Michael Scott on the stream. Michael is still around. He's still okay. He's over there somewhere. In the meantime, it appears that everyone else has stopped talking. What's going on?
Not really much to talk about. I
Any
don't
more
think there's really
warnings?
any storm chasers.
Any more warnings for Florida at the moment is a question that's just come
No.
out. I haven't seen any. A new warning has just come out in Virginia. A new severe thunderstorm warning out till 8:15 for all of these locations.
Wow, that's moving at it's moving at 70 miles an hour.
And a tornado is also possible in that area there. Same
And
ones that we
Nathan-
were looking at earlier, stemming from the earlier tornado. David?
National Weather Service in Miami has in place a special marine warning.
Now there have
And-
been quite a few of these offshore Florida,
Yep.
but none overland. In fact, I think Lake Okeechobee is one of those.
That is one, and the others are for portions of the Gulf waters from Marco
There-
Island to Cape Sable.
There is a line moving through there right now here on the radar from the National Weather Service's website. You can see a line of thunderstorms moving through. It's just past Naples, getting on for Everglades City, and heading towards the east. So we'll monitor that situation as well. I don't know personally, because I'm not really a storm spotter in this sense, but Craig, severe probabilities out of that?
Hard to tell, really. We need to have a look at them.
Go and have a look.
And meantime, the severe thunderstorm moving at 70 miles an hour northeast. It has 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail, and the locations that may be impacted by it are Lynchburg, Buckingham, Alta Vista, Amherst, and Appomattox in Virginia. And this one's moving at a brisk 70 miles an hour, so... don't really see any new warnings. Besides that, all the rest of them are going to expire soon.
Am I right in saying that the tornado warnings in Virginia are now gone?
There's one still in Virginia that's going to expire in 23 minutes.
It's already gone.
Oh, it is? I don't know about the one in Ohio, though.
That's still there.
It's still there. It's hanging on.
Meanwhile, there's a flash flood warning in Hawaii that was recently issued.
We talked about that yesterday in Weatherbeat. Okay, more questions from viewers, mainly tropical cyclone based. Has a tropical cyclone ever affected Albania in the Mediterranean? Not to my knowledge.
A Mediterranean tropical cyclone.
Oh my god, what I have heard.
What have you heard?
Albania getting
Yes.
affected by a tropical cyclone? No. No more, please.
Here's a good
Oh.
question, according to Random Things. Is it possible for an Atlantic hurricane to hit California? Yes. No, not Atlantic, Pacific.
Pacific hurricane.
So the answer's
Wasn't
no.
there- wasn't there
Well, the
a,
answer might
uh,
be yes if a storm crosses over. But that's very,
wasn't-
very unlikely.
Wasn't there a quote-unquote hurricane that hit in California in like the 1800s or 1700s? Something like that.
1858, I believe. And also that tropical storm that almost made landfall, but I think curved away at the last minute in 1939.
Yeah, so it's kind of possible, but pretty rare if it does, I would say.
So there we are. At this point, where are we in this situation? Is that a new tornado warning?
No. We're probably about to get a new one, though, if this keeps up.
It's not a new one.
Is that the one in Virginia that you're showing right now?
That's the one that you pointed out.
Oh,
But yes, it is in Virginia still. This is our firstborn. It's still trying to keep going.
guessing maybe at least a mezzo or a funnel possibly in there. Maybe.
Broad. So look elsewhere. See what the storms are looking like.
There's no really spotters that are recording anything of note. Just rain. But not really much to talk about unless you have more questions on the stream, because I know we've been getting them every now and then.
One or two, but nothing of note. People asking whether tropical cyclones have affected places that they know full well they haven't hit.
Yes.
And have you ever experienced hurricanes yourself? So I'll open that out to all of the team here.
Minus
Yes.
Isaac has.
It was
Harvey.
to put it lightly, it was quite a remembering situation. I'm never gonna forget that.
I mean, you evacuated on air, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know if we put that on a highlights reel, but I had to evacuate midstream because of they're forecasting it to hit directly over my city, which thankfully it went just to the north, but just to at what cost though? It hit Rockport and pretty much destroyed the entire town. And I had some relatives over in Houston, and they were all right, but they said that they couldn't go anywhere because all around them, all surrounding them was water, and they weren't really able to go anywhere. Unlike pretty much everybody else was able not to go anywhere either for a few days.
Isaac, don't look at the comments. Okay, moving on. The situation remains fairly dire for some areas. Tornado warning still in effect in Ohio, but Craig, anything developing out of that?
Let's have a look.
Oh dear. Yeah, the comments. Not really
I told you not to.
anything of note. Oh, there's been apparently there's a river / creek flooding just to the south of Hudson, Ohio, reportedly.
Is that near this?
That's near the tornado warning in Ohio. That's actually in a tornado warning in Ohio, supposedly. It's just to the south. It's just to the south of Hudson, southeast of Hudson, Ohio.
You said Ohio twice.
Yeah, it's Ohio.
You said Ohio.
We're coming up to midnight midnight local time here in the UK, where UTC +1 have been since late March when the clocks went forward, as they did in the US earlier. And of course the time is ticking on for 7 o'clock on the US East Coast. So many time zones to remember. Usually there's no mistakes on that front.
I never knew there was a town called Canton in Ohio. Oh.
There's your hat trick, for God's sake.
I think this goes for blooper reel.
Congratulations, Isaac. You just made blooper
He's
reel.
got a problem with that. He's got a problem with that. Well, Craig, I don't know if we want to make a call here about what do you think is going to happen in the course of this next hour? Because I think we're going to move on to hurricane chat in the next hour.
I mean, I'll keep an eye on these, but I don't think they're going to come to anything else now. I think that's them.
Yeah, okay.
I think. But yeah, I think that's them now. To be brutally honest with you, I don't think this tornado warning is going to produce. Nah. Circulation isn't there.
Yeah, so if it is, it's really, really broad.
Well,
The
we're going to
storm
take
chaser.
a short break then, and we'll be back in not very long at all, actually, just about a minute or so to gather our belongings and bearings. We'll be back again shortly.
Peace.
You're watching Force 13's live streaming service. Okay, that's the sped up version. I accidentally pressed the sped up version of the music, which sounded awfully strange to everyone involved. This is Force 13 Live. My name's Nathan Foy. I'm here still somewhere. We're now just about into April 16th here at Force 13 HQ. We'll change that in due course. And we're going to be talking about hurricanes in 2018. Of course, we will keep you up to date with any more tornado alerts over there in the United States and beyond. And but now we're going to field any and all of your questions about the current hurricane season which is approaching, offering you the chance to speak about, or to at least be heard by sending us comments about what to expect anywhere in the world this upcoming hurricane season. In the meantime, you can still see Craig's screen over there, which still has the tornado situation, and I guess we can keep that up there on the picture. Is everyone still here? Ah,
I'm here.
I'm here.
now then, where do you want to begin? Shall we begin with... Yeah?
You posted a graphic of potential hurricane tracks in the Force 13 room, if you don't mind sharing that on screen for people to see.
Now, a lot of this was discussed in last night's weather beat, but we'll go and look at it again and we can get people's comments on it, if you haven't seen it yet, for the upcoming Atlantic hurricane season. I'm just fishing around for the right pictures to show on the screen, which can take a while. I don't know whether Marcel wants to do anything in the meantime.
Elevator music.
Elevator music, and it appears that it is here.
I am playing Explain.
Lovely. The 2018 Atlantic hurricane season prediction is shown here. 12 tropical storms, according to Force 13's predictions, 6 hurricanes and 2 major hurricanes. Now, this situation may change as time goes on and we get a better idea of what's going to happen, but that's at the moment, according to current conditions, what we're likely to see. Chance of below average, 45%. Near average at 30%, 25% above average. So, certainly not ruling that out. If we move on a few pictures, chance of hurricane conditions are shown there, but I want to get to another one first. The key messages for the Atlantic is a bit chopped off there, so I'm just going to try to reinstate that, which will take a moment. But before we get on to that, guys, what are your thoughts of those numbers?
They seem to be alright. I mean, I think models so far are calling for a fairly neutral or possibly small El Nino year for in terms of Atlantic-wise for hurricanes, I believe.
There's the Atlantic key messages, which were discussed last night. No areas are at an enhanced higher than usual risk of major hurricane landfall in 2018, but the usual risks are there. An enhanced risk of hurricane activity along the United States East Coast, north of Florida. An enhanced risk of hurricane activity in Atlantic Canada, Nova Scotia in particular. Significant risk of hurricane activity in Bermuda and on the Yucatan Peninsula. Potential further tropical storm or hurricane impacts in Harvey-affected areas, and a high probability of one or more wandering hurricanes far out at sea.
So the 2018 season is kind of going to be kind of like a 2000 hurricane season, like the one we had in 2000.
That's possible.
Because I know in 2000 we had a storm that hit Texas, and then I know there was I think a few storms that were around Nova Scotia, if I'm not mistaken, unless it was a year before or after. So I think maybe 2000 is probably maybe a good analog, I want to say.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on the Atlantic because we spoke about it last night, but obviously you've not had your say yet in the room. David, what do you think? Is he there?
No comments. Sorry,
no
we're
comments.
A bit distracted.
He's distracted. He's.
No,
we do focus on many things. Marcel,
Social
are you
platform.
He muted himself.
Yes.
Oh. What do you think
never
of
mind.
that and those tracks?
Well, I think this is going more like 1996.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that a little bit as well for potential impacts, certainly. The East Coast, the Outer Banks,
There's
I'm
one
particularly
track-
worried about
There's
that.
one track that reminds me much of Edward.
Yeah. I think we can't rule out a Fran-like system either.
I'm certain there's probably going to be people who are asking in the chat, so I'll ask it already. Do you think we'll see another storm like Maria or Harvey this year?
Don't jinx it yet. Tropical storm prediction by date is shown here. The 1966 to 2009 long-term average is in the black line there. And as you can see, 2018's forecast in the green line going just above that. You can see 2017 is the highest one there in purple, 2016 in the orangish colour. As you can see, they're all way above the average, and the other one is 2015, which was an average year. So that is our projection, hinting at an active start, a sort of mediocre middle, and an active end.
Interesting to say the least.
And to touch on the, I think hurricane chances are the best to show. Where are they? There they are, the hurricane chances, and you can see the highest chance of hurricane conditions this year, according to us, is the Outer Banks and North Carolina in general. So there's a point of concern. In second place, it looks like a three-way tie between Nova Scotia, Bermuda, and the Yucatan. Indications at the moment showing that there may only be one or two hurricanes that significantly impact land, but it could be higher. But the best
So kind
guess
of more of those.
is for one or two, 2 or 3.
So maybe an Irene is possible of 2012.
Yes.
I mean 2012, 2011.
Irene is very possible. Not Sandy, I don't think. Irene, Fran. We could even have an early season surprise like an Arthur.
Interesting.
Some storms that we saw in 2014 might be repeated this year. Maybe.
Do you think maybe like an Ernesto type storm that goes into the
Maybe
Yucatan there?
a stronger version of Ernesto. Cesar was saying on last night's weather beat, on the Tropical Weather Bulletin rather, that he thinks this is the year for a major hurricane landfall on the Yucatan, because it hasn't happened since Wilma, apparently. Not Wilma, which one was it? One of the ones in 07. Yeah, so as far as I can remember, I don't think there's been any since then.
Yeah, I don't think either. And I mean, I hope that's wrong and we don't get one, but I mean, the chances do look to be possibly there. It just depends on the conditions and the sea surface temperatures if it does happen. But I hope that's wrong.
Craig, any thoughts?
Absolutely no comment.
Oh dear, can't have gone well then. Nothing at all. What?
On our, oh God's sake!
You got an update for us?
Yep, our firstborn tornado storm warned again, and quite right too.
Well, if we get more tornado news, Craig will be there, and if there's any new warnings, we'll be straight in with it. So now I want to move on to something that we haven't discussed on Force 13 videos at all yet, and that's the Eastern Pacific hurricane season prediction. Force 13 this year calling for 17 tropical storms, 8 hurricanes and 5 majors. 45% chance of below average, 25% chance of near average, and 30% chance above average.
That's also interesting. I wonder if there's going to be any of those storms that kind of scrape the Mexican coast in that season.
And there's the hurricane prediction, is bang on average. The average is 8. And these are the likely hurricane tracks and the key messages, so listen up on these. An enhanced risk of hurricane landfall along the Mexican coast from western Oaxaca to Sinaloa. An enhanced risk of hurricane landfall in Baja California Sur. A significant chance of enhanced activity entering the Central Pacific at low latitude. Average chance of Central Pacific development, although a higher than normal chance of a stronger cyclone in the Central Pacific. The threat to Hawaii is slightly below average because it's speculated that any storms that pass through the Central Pacific will be at a lower latitude.
So maybe a 2014 season, but not as active, and not any storms hitting Hawaii.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
You don't suppose there could be another Hurricane Odile type storm?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Genevieve then.
Oh, for God's sake.
Well, I wouldn't completely rule it out, but I would say we're more likely to see a Kenna.
Oh, for God's sake.
Is all I can tell you.
Oh dear.
Major hurricane predictions there.
One track reminds me much of Bolin, but
Of what?
Hurricane Bolin.
Hurricane who?
What?
Polin.
Type it in chat.
Hurricane Paul.
1997.
Polo?
Pauline.
Pauline.
1997.
Pauline.
Ah.
Pauline.
Pauline.
Oh my
Well, a little bit,
Oh.
but Pauline was much further east of the easternmost track there. Pauline, I think, hit east of Acapulco, didn't it?
It completely washed away Acapulco.
Well, it did that too, yes. Okay, well, there we go. That's the Eastern Pacific. And let's take everyone's comments that have mounted up recently. And do send them in if you have any comments for us right now whilst I'm taking them. I'll pick up at the end. Do you think there might be a Hurricane Juan type storm in 2018? Juan was an interesting one because it sort of came from the south, went due north. I'm thinking there might be more of a glancing blow going northeast. But that's possible. Do you think there is going to be a Katrina type storm this year?
I hope you're not mentioning that. If you are, no.
I'm sorry?
Stop. Whatever Katrina is, if it's not that year, please stop.
Katrina-like storm is somewhat unlikely. I'd say very unlikely, actually. Not impossible, as is anything. Many storms that have cost over $1 billion in damage have been retired. However, some have not, like Isaac, Emily, and Ophelia. Why is that?
I can't really give an explanation for that, to be honest, either. I'm clueless onto that.
I mean, they've retired Hurricane Nate for...
You can take it the other way. Hurricane Joaquin was retired because of a ship.
That's true.
It just boggles my mind how they didn't retire Isaac, but yet they did it with Joaquin. I know Isaac caused, I think, 40, 50 deaths, something like that. Because of the flooding there, even though it was a weak hurricane, it still caused a lot of storm surge over there, I heard. But that boggles my mind. It caused something around $2 billion in damages, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a tiny bit more than that.
Here's a question. Do you think we could have our first storm in the later part of April or May? If you're referring to the Atlantic, I've been looking at long term. It's looking very unlikely for at least a storm before mid-May.
So kind of maybe a possibly like Anna storm of 2015 that kind of hits North Carolina as a week.
Couldn't tell you yet.
Southwest storm.
I said an active start to the season. that only means 3 storms by August, but the average by the 1st of August is only 1.8. So, okay, well, now one that people might anticipate a little bit more. After a few more questions, actually. Do you think that this year's hurricane season is going to be average? Well, we've just said for the Atlantic and East Pacific, we are predicting pretty much bang average for both of those. Whilst I get the Western Pacific up, Craig, an update?
This tornado, just look at the cell. It's completely spinning. You can see it on the structure on the radar. It's spinning.
That is
The
interesting.
Weather Service Miami has upgraded their advisory to include water spouts, and the special marine warning for the Atlantic waters from Jupiter Inlet to Pompano Beach. Water spouts, wind gusts of 40 knots, small hail, lightning, heavy rain possible with these storms.
And just to quickly go over the tornado warning in Virginia again, there is a radar indicated tornado in the south in Brentford County, South Central Virginia, and Central Virginia.
Oh, you're kidding me.
It's in locations impacted by this thing. Could be Lynchburg, Amherst, Forks of Buffalo, Clifford, and Forest counties and cities, and it's radar indicated tornado, 1-inch hail or quarter-sized hail, and it's moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. So please take a tornado.
A vehicle overturned after tornado warned storm in the Akron, Ohio area on Manchester Road.
On the Ohio storm, it's no longer Tor warned.
Not really much else going on besides that Virginia tornado and about 5 more other severe thunderstorm warnings in Virginia and 1 in North Carolina.
I mean, the one that's supposedly confirmed hasn't been confirmed in my screen.
Sorry for the moment of silence there on my part. There's a nagging technical glitch that sometimes happens here at Force 13 HQ. That did just happen.
Oh dear.
But that's okay, we're alright. Let's now move on to the Western Pacific forecast for 2018.
The dead basin.
Yes, well, this is the prediction for the Westpac this year. 29 tropical storms, 17 typhoons and 11 majors. Chance of below average 25%, chance of near average 45%, chance of above average 30%. What are your thoughts on those?
I'm actually surprised, because that thing's near enough being a zombie. The damn thing's been dead.
Here's the projection for typhoons there. It is average, 17. Again, bang average. And here are the West Pacific key messages, which was a pretty difficult one to do because very uncertain about the tracks this year. At least 1 Category 4 landfall possible in the Philippines, 50% chance, but that's not really saying much. An enhanced typhoon risk for Hainan and Guangdong, China, 80% chance. Strong confidence in that one. Typical risk for Vietnam, strong typhoon landfall is a possibility, 50% chance, and odds are it will have affected the Philippines as well. Enhanced risk of typhoon activity in northern Taiwan and southern Japan, that's an 85% chance. Lower than usual risk in China, north of Wenzhou, and in Korea, 20% chance of anything. Enhanced risk of super typhoons east of 140 degrees east, 80% chance of that happening. And an enhanced risk of Central Pacific Westpac crossover typhoons. Ah, 40% chance.
Oh god,
So maybe,
they did
maybe
confirm
a
it.
maybe a 2014 typhoon season.
Uh-oh.
Oh please no.
Maybe a tiny
be.
bit
Could be.
less. Because 2014 had like two landfalls near China, and it also had one or two landfalls, I believe, in typhoon landfalls in the Philippines, and
Yep,
a
same
few
cell
scattered ones in
produced
Japan.
Craig?
the same cell has produced a tornado, which is what Isaac was reading out.
Another
and it's,
tornado active now?
yeah, and it's stronger than the last.
Oh, wow.
I'm just gonna remove all the markers so folk can see it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a strong tornado.
Well, that's the latest. We will pick up on that in just a few moments. I think that was pretty much it, to be honest. I think we can also go and look at tropical storm numbers. As you can see, more than average is predicted in terms of tropical storm numbers, mainly owing to the strong start that we had, marked by the red line up to April the 10th. And you can see there what the average season does in the black line, and the green line being the 2018 prediction, with strong activity through the sort of the July-August period, and then settling down a little bit compared to average, and then a little bit of action at the end, November-December time, quite possibly. Well, there we are. I guess we will return to the severe weather coverage until we feel like stopping.
Whenever the tornadoes let up. Because they have been
Over in-
relentless.
Over in near Timberlake, Virginia, there's been reports of wind damage there as of about 6:05 p.m.
In fact, I'm going to turn off this tornado warning and look at the structure of the cell. This currently tornado warned. Just look at it. You can actually see it spinning.
And a confirmed tornado in Falconville. I think it's Falconville.
Is that the one?
This one
Another
right
one?
here. This is the same tornado. This is the same cell that tornado about 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we know that much.
Moving north and east.
That's
Is that the
reassuring.
one near to the west of Amherst?
That's reassuring. I feel sorry for the folk that live there.
Is that the one near Amherst, Craig?
There's a place called Craigsville. I feel sorry for the folk that live
Craigsville?
No, go. I kid you not.
Craigsville.
I feel sorry for the folk that
Blimey.
live there.
I was just going to take some more questions, actually. Where is it? Why don't people pay as much attention to the Western Pacific if statistically there are more storms and stronger than any other basin? Why do people mainly watch the Atlantic?
Because more people.
Yeah, more people
news-
get affected.
news.
in the
Because
Atlantic.
America has a monopoly on media.
And,
Yeah, to put it bluntly, I guess.
Have
Pretty
you ever,
much.
does anyone even know what the Japanese broadcasters called? I doubt a lot of Americans do. Or the Philippines. Or Taiwan. China's, ironically, is called CCTV. That's true. That's true.
oh god, no.
Going back to the tornado
what's
thing really
that?
quickly, the one that David was talking about a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Just to read it out really quickly for people who are watching.
Tree limbs down.
A confirmed tornado was located near Falconville, Virginia, moving north at 55 miles per hour. Damaging tornado and quarter-sized hail. Weather spotters confirmed tornado. Locations impacted include Lynchburg, Amherst, Folks of Buffalo, Clifford, and Forest, Virginia. Again, Lynchburg, Amherst, Forks of Buffalo, Clifford, and Forest. It's moving north at 55 miles per hour. Weather spotted confirmed tornado and quarter-sized hail.
Tree limbs have been confirmed down. Tornado observed. This tornado has
Yeah.
been sighted.
Ricardo asks, do you think the Caribbeans are more threatened by hurricanes and tropical storms? I assume you meant this year over last year. I'd say the threat is less this year than last year. but the threat for the Lesser Antilles, given how vulnerable they are after last year, is probably about the same for those Leeward Islands, because they are very exposed. But for actual places like Jamaica and Central America, the threat level is probably ever so slightly below average, but we always can't rule out 1 or even 2 significant storms in a year. And in the absence of voice, here's another one. Why was Paloma retired but not Earl of 2016?
Paloma didn't that destroy destroy Guam. Oh man,
That's
never
the
mind.
wrong
Didn't that-
Paloma.
Oh, that's another Paloma we're talking about.
You're talking about the one in Guam many years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Didn't that one cause like pretty much destroy Guam? Guam.
Oh, it was a big one, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this was the one in
I think
2008.
Oh,
Are you
never
talking
mind.
about Bongsonan?
No, we're in the Atlantic now.
No.
Oh,
Oh, that was a late season one.
Yeah,
Forgot what that one hit.
Cuba.
Cuba. Didn't it come close to the Cayman
Oh,
Islands
very
too?
close indeed, yes.
Yeah. But knowing how Cuban infrastructure is, they probably requested it to be retired, I'm guessing. And
I don't know.
because I know the infrastructure there is quite bad because of all the stuff that's been going on in there.
All right. Here's a question. Has anyone ever experienced a tornado? They want to know your story.
I have experienced a funnel, but not a tornado.
What an interesting question. What was the biggest embarrassment to Force 13 or the weather media in general?
Div.
Come back to us on that
That's
one.
a good one.
It is actually a good one.
2 parts.
Do you have any candidates, David?
Well, I'm thinking about it. Good question. It's caught us unaware.
Norway Tracking has helped you out. He's suggesting the Tango incident. Now, the thing is,
I could say something, but I'm not.
just on a technical standpoint, the Tango incident did not occur on Force 13.
No, it didn't.
There, I said it.
it did
I
occur
was
in Force 15.
I was on it, but it was not a Force 13 production. You can't have us on that one. I think I know. I'm guessing.
What the hell?
I don't know. Maybe Marcel on the Super Cyclone Challenge or something.
Oh, no more, please. Don't remind me of that.
Well, it's only been
For
the
our
first
viewers,
time.
I'm sorry,
Normal
Marcel.
response.
I'm sorry.
It's only been 5 months. I thought you needed a little reminder after so long.
Oh, hello. We could have twin tornadoes. Fast moving.
And
Go,
here's
Craig.
another severe thunderstorm warning in central North Carolina.
Yeah, there's 2 clips in there. Pretty much parallel. There's our twins. Get on.
Now there's only 4 severe thunderstorm warnings, 3 of them being in Virginia and 1 in North Carolina that's going to expire in 15 minutes.
But let's just have a look at the main structure on
Skyview 8 TV in Greensboro is covering the damage in that area due to the tornado.
But you can see here the radar, this current tornado warning cell, you can see, if you look closely, this entire structure is spinning.
And moving fast as well.
You can physically see it spinning. Even at base velocity, you can see it spinning.
There was, I think that the one that Craig is showing viewers, I think it's got winds of 100, I stand corrected, 100 miles per hour.
That would be EF1.
And
Now, does
I've
that
just
factor in
cited
its
that.
forward motion?
Not necessarily.
And
So you might be adding 50 onto that.
I don't know if this is a new tornado warning. Oh no, it's not. It's
an extension.
It's an extension. I'll read it out. A confirmed tornado was located near Forks of Buffalo, moving north at 50 miles an hour. Hazard: damaging tornado and quarter-sized hail. Source: weather spotters confirmed tornado. The tornado will be near Montebello around 7:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Starts draft at around 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And please take a tornado cautions if you're in the path of this tornado.
National Weather Service DC Baltimore has just put out a Twitter posting tornado warning, including Stewart's Draft, VA, Lyndhurst, VA, Greenville, VA.
Here it is.
Until 8:15.
So
I think-
people, stay indoors, go to the basement if you can, and bring food and water in the weather radio.
And that also covers a small section of Interstate 64 there, as far as I see.
Yeah, this tornado is getting progressively bigger.
And Spring Air Mattress Corporation on North Raleigh Street has just put out a
Rally.
Video on the damage.
That's in Raleigh, North Carolina, right?
Yes, that'll be that state.
Okay. I don't think there's really any spotters that are near the tornado warning to my knowledge right now.
And I
Not much
think,
really going on.
Nathan, up over the Canadian border, there are energy issues due to the weather.
Well, a lot of Michigan was without power this morning. Well, about 150,000 customers.
That's a lot of people.
And the special marine warning for that lake has been extended until 8:30 p.m. local time. And they're still reporting possibility of water spouts, the wind gusts, the small hail, lightning, and heavy rain. So that advisory has been extended.
We'll take any more of your questions about hurricane predictions for 2018. Force 13 is predicting 12 storms in the Atlantic, 17 in the Eastern Pacific, and 29 in the Western Pacific. So if you've got any thoughts on those numbers, do let us know. Or your own input. Start your message with Force 13 all in text.
I think 29 is low.
Interesting. What place do you think has the greatest risk of being struck by a hurricane? I assume they mean this year. But I think any year the answer's the Philippines. Statistically, the world's cyclone hotspot is the Philippine Sea, just east of Luzon. Southern Luzon.
Looking at an image that David posted, looks like a possible maybe EF1, maybe EF2 tornado damage there. Hard to say. I don't know where that's coming from though. I'm assuming it's from one of the locations that were impacted by the tornado we've been tracking for the past hour or two.
It'll be soon coming up for 4.
And over Honolulu, sorry Nathan, National Weather Service Honolulu flash flood warning continues.
Oh,
Yeah.
other area
Been
just
going
went
on
tornado
for like
warned.
2 days.
We have another area tornado warned.
Where?
Right next to our current tornado warning. Oh god, we're gonna have twins.
Buckingham County in VA.
Yeah, we're gonna have twins. Oh god.
Okay, I'm gonna read the this one out.
New tornado
severe
warning
storm.
over Yogaville and Centenary.
The severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Wagner, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. Hazard tornado and quarter-sized hail. Source radar indicated tornado. Locations impacted include Wagner and Centenary, and Virginia. And please take shelter if you're in those two following areas.
Okay, how many tornadoes have we had today? Does anyone know?
I want to say at least
2.
3.
You've had 2.
2.
2 confirmed reported.
I thought we were just talking about warnings, not confirmed.
Norway Tracking wants to know your thoughts on the giant blob of above average temperatures underwater in the equatorial Pacific.
No comment.
No comment.
The current tornado just took in a massive explosion to the...
You'll be disappointed.
I'm actually getting concerned at how big this tornado again.
How long has this thing been going on for? Like,
This has been
2
going
hours
since
and 3
initiation. But just look at the last frame of velocity. Just look at this thing just take off.
Does the
Here it
Mid-Atlantic have a chance of getting a hurricane this year? Definitely they do. Not certain, but it's quite possible that a hurricane will occur along the east coast somewhere.
It's starting to go into no man's land.
Do you think that there will ever be a Category 6 hurricane? No.
Stop.
no.
Not as long.
I mean,
Not for Force 13 will never be reporting on a
Please
Category 6
stop.
hurricane for as long as I'm here. Which might be quite long, who knows.
Didn't Sanford Simpson say himself that
Did he?
after he reads
That's true,
after he
yes.
reads after he reads he said something like after he reads 155 or 150
Yeah.
mile an hour winds, there's pretty much like no point in raising a category when it's just pretty much going to be just the same, just complete damage.
Oh, question about Florida. I did sort of neglect to mention Florida. That's because the risk level in Florida for hurricanes this year is slightly lower than average. Doesn't mean that Florida will be spared a hurricane this year, but we are expecting that Florida will not be the headline in 2018. Same for all points east of New Orleans to as far as South Carolina anyway.
We're going Morse code.
Yeah, I see what you mean there, Craig. It looks like there possibly could be 2 twins.
Yeah, and twins means even worse.
I'm looking at the other radar because this one's not providing me as much coverage to the east of it. But wow,
Is that?
that looks to be. Go ahead.
I think there's another tornado warning as well in the same area. I think you might be looking at it.
It's probably the one that's been extended.
Let me see. Oh yeah, there's another tornado warning out. This is a new one. A confirmed tornado is located near Lowesville, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. Damaging tornado and quarter-sized hail. Weather spotters confirmed tornado. Locations impacted include Forks of Buffalo, Lowesville, and Piney River, Virginia. If you're in the following areas, please take cover immediately. Like I've been saying, innermost part of your house, interiormost part away from windows. Get as many walls between you and the tornado. Preferably go into a closet, bathroom, or a hallway with no windows that's in the centermost part of your house. Cover yourself with blankets or pillows and wait for the tornado to pass on by. And again, that's for Forks of Buffalo, Lowesville, and Piney River, Virginia. Confirmed tornado. Moving northeast at 50.
Do you think that these severe storms will persist into Maryland?
Craig?
Probably. Depending on how quickly they weaken, but I would suggest they might hold their strength.
do you think Florida will get a major hurricane this year? I'd say the chances are low, but not nil. But lower than usual chance. Bearing in mind, Florida, you know, Matthew, well, you know, it got closer and closer every year. Joaquin, Matthew, Irma.
Third time lucky.
I just don't see Florida having... I don't know, it could happen. I mean, happened in 04 and 05 in a row. But trends are suggesting that it's unlikely. But you can never say never. Will there ever be a hurricane stronger than Hurricane Patricia?
Oh, don't.
Oh dear.
Well,
maybe
that
long
depends.
after I die, but that's probably it.
Depends who you're asking. I don't think Patricia is the strongest hurricane.
Yeah, varying sources on that.
Strongest cyclone.
And
It
I've
probably
got
is the strongest
breaking
hurricane.
news, Nathan.
Say again, David.
I-
What's the news?
Magnitude 5.2 earthquake, 246 kilometres south-southwest of Suva, Fiji, and 10 kilometres deep.
A country that can't get a break.
And breaking news out of Fiji. Again,
No.
it's a political item. The opposition leader has been suspended by the speaker from the Fijian parliament
Okay.
about 10 minutes ago.
Do you think that Texas will get another major hurricane this year? I would say a major hurricane is somewhat unlikely, but if it were to happen, I think it would be near the Mexican border. The worst case scenario for Texas this year, in my opinion, is a Beulah.
So kind of like a Beulah or maybe a Emily of 2005,
Yeah, maybe.
or it's kind of weaker. I'm gonna say maybe an Emily.
Do you think a major hurricane will strike the Caribbean? Well, it depends where... Narrow it down for me a little bit there on that one. The Caribbean's a large place.
Let's talk about like, honestly, meaning like Omar, you know, Dean. There's plenty of storms that have been in the Caribbean.
I mean, like, you know, there's so many places on the periphery of the Caribbean, so that you can give a lot of different messages. What do you think about the development of tropical cyclones in the Mediterranean Sea? Is it possible to get a Category 3 storm someday?
Stop.
Like I said, with the category storm stronger than Patricia, that if it does happen, it'll be long after I'm dead.
Oh my god. Let's stop talking.
Is there
Oh.
ever
I mean, the
going
closest-
to be a hurricane in New York again? Yes. Who knows when?
Going back to that other question, if the closest thing we've probably gotten so far to a quote unquote hurricane in the Mediterranean was quote unquote Medicane quote unquote Seleno, I think it was in 1995 or 1996, and that I believe had a peak gust of I want to say 76 or 96 miles an hour off of a weather ship passing through there. But as far as I know, that's probably the closest we'll probably ever
LC
get.
Storm wants to know about the Leeward Islands. Well, as I said earlier on in the broadcast, the Leeward Islands are a little bit of a risk, particularly because of how vulnerable they are right now after what happened last year. I would suggest that any hurricanes that do pass through the area will be clipping the islands, probably not at intensities that we saw at last year. I'm thinking more Irene, worst case, something like a Hortense. Was Hortense in that area? Or am I thinking of something else? I think it was
Floyd?
Hortense. Hortense of 96 or Earl of 2010, which nearly got there.
What about a Floyd of 99, but maybe weaker?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a... Well, that could be. I mean, if you merge, yeah, I suppose a Floyd is possible. But unlikely. Do you think that the Southwest Indian is done for the season? Yep, Southwest Indian is shut down. The shutters have slammed shut ages ago, and that is a dead
Closed for
season.
business.
5 storms in the Southwest Indian this season. Do you think a tropical storm will hit Newfoundland? Chances are higher than usual this year, but having said that, it's somewhat rare that they are that weak when they're up there. Usually they're transitioning hurricanes, halfway through transitioning to extratropical. Is Southeast Georgia a risk for hurricanes this year? That's a bit of a 50-50, that one, I would say. I would verge on saying less likely, but it's still very possible. Worst case scenario for that area might be something like a Hugo. I don't think a Hugo is going to happen this year, though.
Famous last word, right enough.
Yes, and this one's being recorded as well, so...
This definitely is famous last words.
And Nathan, another item over there in Fiji, I think around 150,000 residents are still impacted by the recent cyclones. I'm not sure what the population on the island of Kadavu is, but 150,000 still
Wow.
being affected.
There's a lot of questions coming in. Well, I don't know why now of all time. Will any hurricane season surpass the 2017 season for being the costliest in recorded history? Well, as long as society is progressing and there's no big collapse from nuclear war or anything like that, yes, it will happen, and probably sooner than you might think. Do you think the hurricane scale will go higher in the future due to global warming? Craig?
Stop. No, it won't.
We already answered this earlier. Wow.
Did Ike hit Canada when it went post-tropical? What?
Oh my god. To be honest, that's like saying that you're going to put the enhanced Fujita scale up to EF7.
It's a good job we're finishing in 12 minutes.
Because as Professor Fujita himself said after the Jarl F5, even then he considered maybe putting F6, but he didn't.
Right, that's interesting.
He thought
I have an update.
Go ahead.
National-
Saffron-
Sorry, Craig.
National Weather Service over there in Miami, 7:45 p.m. Strong storms moving closer to Metro South Florida. Wind gusts to 50 miles per hour. Funnel clouds, small hail, lightning, heavy rain possible through to 8:45. So that's from the National Weather Service down there in Miami.
Yep, I'm just showing on the page again for people who haven't seen it so far. The 2018 Atlantic Hurricane Season prediction from Force 13. 12 tropical storms, 6 hurricanes, 2 majors is Force 13's prediction. That is pretty much bang average. In any case, I was also... What were we also looking at? I've lost it now. The key messages for the Atlantic, to reiterate, I said them all earlier, but here we are again. These are the likely significant hurricane tracks in 2018. Don't take this too seriously, they can deviate, and these are just best guesses based on historic trends and the current pattern that we're entering. But as you can see, an enhanced risk of hurricane activity along the east coast of the United States, north of Florida, and for the Yucatan, and possibly some of those Caribbean islands.
And I have an update on the Canadian weather scene.
Yes.
Hits 93 Radio Toronto is reporting, they're getting reports that the neighbourhood surrounding the Pearson International Airport has lost power. It is unclear if the airport has lost power.
How interesting.
So
Uh-huh.
they're getting severe weather up over the border.
Do you think that we could see a storm the size of Tip in the near future?
Oh, for God's sake.
That's a good question, Craig.
Oh dear.
Tell you what,
Well, I mean,
going through the
probably will come
archives,
in.
Typhoon Tip, massive. But on
Sorry,
the...
guys, I got breaking
Oh,
news.
gosh.
It's being reported by the Southern MDWX News. State of emergency has just been declared for the city of Danville after tornado rips
not
through
good.
Danville City. Multiple trees, power lines down, with many structures also hit.
Just to confirm that the current tornado warning cell has been spotted, and volunteer fire deputies have
just gonna
visually
read that.
confirmed tornado on Timberlake Road. Cars were flipped over and several structures damaged. So cars have been hit and homes have been destroyed or damaged.
Yeah, I was just about to read that one as well, so that's the latest there. The question
Did I
was,
get in first, did I?
do you think we'll see a storm the size of Tip in the near future? 1979, Typhoon Tip, huge, but we discovered a year or two ago that there was another storm in August 1940 in the Western Pacific that could have rivaled Tip's size, but we don't know for sure.
I know. Well, I want to say maybe because I know Typhoon Lan had a really, really big wind field, to my understanding. I think it was second only to Tip, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not certain about that. So I do believe it could be possible, but.
And just so you know, 1940 to 1979 is a 39-year gap. Another 39 years takes us to 2018. Well, there we are.
Oh, for God.
Sorry about that.
You made us not.
What next? One of the largest tornadoes in history. Oh God, wait, never mind.
Well, we'll wait and see on that one. But obviously it is a serious situation. A state of emergency declared in the city of Danville after a tornado has... I don't know what it's done to the city yet, but that will become, I'm guessing, more clear over time. We are finishing up very shortly, guys, so if you want to
I have an update.
conclude with messages for us, please.
Well, that's
Radio. Sorry, Craig, I'll get this in. Radio Toronto, they're reporting the Hydro One customers increasing number without energy. It was 32. It was earlier 32,000. It's now 38,500. So that's the local energy issue up there in
Right.
Toronto.
Craig?
And I think
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. A state of emergency. I'm actually issue a tornado emergency when that thing was hitting.
Yeah, I was surprised that nothing more happened.
If that
Unless
was
they couldn't get the word out.
I think that
Darn.
message posting is the.
But the
I
thing
thought it was one of the emergency management, but
the thing is, most of these tornadoes in April so far have been wedges. No, I'm dreading to see what may bring.
Craig, could you give us a little forecast for the next few hours as we are about to part ways here?
Well, the severe thunderstorm warnings are dissipate. Tornado is starting to peter out. But to be honest, the severe threat should be starting to diminish now, as it goes into nighttime, and then eventually by tomorrow morning, the threat should be completely over. Do expect a few severe thunderstorm warnings, maybe tornado warnings issued during the night, but other than that, the threat should start to diminish.
Whoa. Reportedly, there's another tornado warning. This is for Baltimore, Washington D.C., northwestern Nelson, and southern Augusta counties. This thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado located near Montebello, 13 miles southwest of Waynesboro, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Tornado on quarter-sized hail radar indicated tornado. Locations impacted include Stewart's Draft, Cernado, Wintergreen, Lyndhurst, Nettysford, Greenville, Middlebrook, Summerdene, Spotswood, and Afton Mountain. Again, if you're in those following areas, please take shelter as there's a radar indicated tornado in the area.
Yeah, that's the
Guys,
same tornado that's been on it for an hour.
Guys, I am leaving the stream.
Good night, Marcel.
Good night.
That was abrupt.
Well,
Yeah.
Marcel's fed up with us, and we're fed up with us as well, because we are finishing the show now, I'm afraid. Some people want us to stay longer. We have been here for 3 hours talking about what's been going on in terms of that severe weather event and with the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season.
You can always switch over to me.
Well, David, if you want to do some coverage, you're more than welcome to. There may be more updates. Maybe David will do
I had
an
to
update for
find
you
out one,
guys.
or even the US channel.
That would be the place, yes. Force
That
13,
would be the place.
Force 13 US. Our US channel will also be featuring something or other if any of our team want to or can get over technical difficulties. That's why we did the stream here tonight, but
Yes.
hopefully we'll get through. If not, there's always Force 13 social platforms. You can follow us on Facebook
That's
and
true.
Twitter. Search Force 13 all in text. You can also add my account on Discord and on Skype. Search Force 13 on Skype, Fool 13, add extension 9094 on Discord. What's so funny? That's it from another night here at Force 13 HQ. We might be back again at some time in the future. Tomorrow we should be back, unless we're live again, with Weatherbeat and maybe a tropical weather bulletin, if there's any tropical weather at all, which there might not be. But we're watching this instead. Yeah, busy night. Hope everyone stays safe, and hope that Danville residents haven't had too rough of a ride, but I regret to inform you that that is probably not the case. Good night from us here at Force 13 HQ. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.
Stay safe.